Who knew? There's no wrestling fans on this show.
No. And then
pro wrestling is such kid stuff.
They
blah,
threw
blah,
in,
blah.
Mike, are we live? I was going to talk about that rash.
They threw in a live trout. Like,
oh God! Now we're just making stuff up. Thanks everybody for staying with the Superstation as they wrapped up their CPO Sharky Marathon. It's time for our big show. As you can see, we got Pixel Dan in the house completely by chance. They did a G.I. Joe Yojo June live stream today, so I guess we'll get to that in the second half of the show as well.
Man, I saw that happen and I was like, oh crap, I better be prepared since I'm on a G.I. Joe podcast tonight to know what they got revealed.
Yeah, all of a sudden, man, you're in high school again. Did you do the reading? Yeah.
I know, right? Like, well, I'm going to look like a total idiot tonight because I'm not going to know what's going on.
It's okay. Because as you know, all we do is we rip the news off from other sites that write it, and then we talk about wrestling and baseball. So if you can handle one out of those two, you're fine. Anyways, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Evening, everybody. It's 9:05 p.m. It's Tuesday night. It's time for the What's on Joe Mind team stream. That's right. All those other shows wish they were.
That's right.
They don't have a smooth talker like me.
Mike couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. We'll get there. I'm jaded today. I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. We are a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. 13 plus years at this point.
Nice.
Joining me here in the top row, he is the former head of marketing at Hasbro for the G.I. Joe brand. It's the Hunt Show, Mark Weber.
Yeah, and don't think I'm not a little disconcerted about you saying you're jaded, because that's kind of my thing, right? So I'm going to have to figure out something else.
Look, you can be jaded. I'm going to continue to play devil's advocate because that's been my thing for over 13 years now.
Fair enough. And I'll be Sun Devil's advocate. We'll all be good. See?
Love of Bears.
Love of Bears.
In the bottom row there, it's a man whose fandom for Don Rickles knows no bounds. It's Racktime Rob. That's right. The live streams pulling out is CPS Sharky or whatever it is. CPO Sharky. And Rob's sitting on a fine 1971 issue of Jimmy Olsen with Don Rickles on the cover.
That's right.
That's amazing. So
Don Rickles would whip Jimmy Olsen's ass. Come on now.
That depends. If Jimmy Olsen's Turtle Boy that week, then maybe not.
Yeah.
I'm not sure many people could take out a pissed off Don Rickles. Like, come on.
Maybe not. I mean, Don Rickles wouldn't have to. He just use his mouth as words.
Yeah, that's his secret, Cap. He's always angry.
And speaking of Turtle Boys, also in the bottom row, our special guest this week. He is far more popular than we are. So, Dan, if we don't have 50 subs by the end of the episode, you're not coming back.
That's fair. That's fair.
And
smash that subscribe button. Let's go, everybody.
We had him on last Christmas in Special Edition 90, and still magically he came back. It's Pixel Dan Hurdley is with on the program tonight.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
That's just
right.
it's
let's talk about G.I. Joe.
Oh,
those shorts are too furry.
He's a faker.
Oh, good. I'm back.
All right.
Wait, he got promoted?
Look,
yeah, now I'm in a new spot.
Look, everybody's jumbled up because Mark is always the last one in. So I don't really know what's going on most of the time as far as what square they're going to pop up in.
I'm just saying, if he pulls out
I see you're a cyclone, and I counter with Red Tornado.
Right?
Yeah, there we go. Battle of the Tornado Dudes.
Flush all that Stinkor air out of here.
Yeah, if he pulls out Buzz Off, he gets center square. That's how it works.
Oh, he's back.
That means I have to dig out the Yellow Jacket, Marvel Legends.
There he is.
There you go.
I'm just going to have a drink of my Cherry Coke Zero and let you talk over one another for a minute.
Right?
Anyways, we got a lot going on. So in lieu of our normal 20 minutes of blather, what do you say we just roll right into community calendar? And Dan, this is one of those things we were working, warning you about before the show started. So just hang in there. It'll be okay.
Okay.
There's so many stars and nuggets.
Man, my God, it's full of stars.
So yes, again, the gentleman responsible for our community calendar intros is the wonderful AbsorbVids. Be sure to check him out on Instagram. That is @Absorb with, I think it's 2 underscores, maybe it's 3. Just if you fill in enough underscores, it should take you to him if you search for it that way. I had a headline for him, but I don't know where those went. They keep moving around things on my StreamYard dashboard. So if it seems like I haven't been here, it's because this is new. This is all new. But I still know where this is.
Look, it got us all moving.
The horns.
Of course, the horns.
We played this on loop a couple weeks ago, Dan, for half an hour.
Specifically to drive Mark insane, and it worked.
And then we went, we got to get Dan on to get those subs back.
Right.
Oh, okay. It's all coming together now.
All making sense now.
Our views were up because everybody wanted to see the honcho break.
Yeah, right.
There it is. Here it is. There you go. Absorb underscore on Instagram. So check out his weirdness there, as well as many skateboarding videos around the great city of Dayton, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
As Phil Donnelly notes, it was a form of torture in 37 countries. So yes,
but not this one.
Facebook did alert me of that. They did say that they were blocking it out of many nations.
Isn't Dayton, Ohio, the birthplace of pure Texan Roger Clemens? Pretty sure.
Maybe.
As Texas as he wanted to be, that's a Dayton boy right there. Just saying.
Look, if you were from Dayton, Ohio, you'd probably lie about being from Dayton, Ohio.
They had the Dayton Dragons were there for a couple years, and they had like a cursive D that ended in a dragon's tail as their hat. It was really cool hat.
So who were the Dragons dating?
I don't have a quick response. I'm gonna let that one go.
Dino.
Morgana, the kissing bandit, of course.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, late. Speaking of,
coming up this weekend, it's one of those inside pitch promotion show that happened down in North Carolina. This one's happening at the West End Plaza Event Center in Salisbury. That is from 9 to 4. $5 gets you in the door. Kids 12 and under are far too plentiful, so they're giving them away for free. And then again on the 15th and 16th, that is the following weekend, they're at the Kerr Scott Building in Rolla. 9 to 4 Saturday, 10 to 4 Sunday, $5 for one day, $8 for a weekend. It's a bargain at twice the price. Again, kids 12 and under free. Free parking at all inside pitch promotion shows. For more information as far as what they're giving out and who's going to be there and what's going on, insidepitchpromo.com. Dan, you ever get out to those? They ever bring you to those?
No.
You want us to send an email?
Maybe, yeah. That's
right. Sure. We'll get you in. We'll get you in some bingo hall in North Carolina. I'm sure you think well of us on that one. But again, this was referred. We have seen fine hauls come back from the inside pitch promotion shows. So no, nice. We tease because we love.
You fly in Saturday, beat the Panthers on Sunday, come home Monday. You're good.
That's right.
Fair enough.
Firefly advises that Dayton, Ohio is the home of the nation's best ham radio festival. Doesn't that count for anything? Look, if it was ham, yes. Ham radio, it's not really the same thing. Figure Six Pack notes that Tony Hawk is pushing mid-50s and he still skates. Tony Hawk is rich enough to afford as many artificial hips as he can buy.
Yeah.
I think there's a Tony Hawk brand artificial hip.
And he's the GOAT, man, right?
Right.
Like he's gonna fall out of his assisted living bed, right, and do a goofy-footed McTwist and be like, "Whatever, dude, come on now."
There's going to be some ska music playing in the background. It'll be right out of that video game.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Christian Hosoi is barely getting any bionic air. That's how it's going to work.
That's trash, man. That is straight up trash.
I know my Bones Brigade. Let's go.
I used to play Tony Hawk 2 as Bam Margera just so I could have him fall off the skateboard a bunch. that made me happy. That gave me good feelings. Zaymot CGC asks, isn't Dayton, Ohio home of the Air Force Museum? Yes, a fantastic Air Force Museum. So yes. Yes.
Because it was the home of the Wright brothers.
Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is there. And it is a wonderful museum. If you're ever in Dayton, go see the Air Force Museum. It is amazing and it is completely free. So get yourself there. I haven't been in a few years. I need to fix that.
We're saving up.
we actually did do a few CoilCon events there. Like we had the tourist package when we were putting CoilCon together. For anybody who got into town a day early, they could take our hired tour guide through the Air Force Base. Usually it was 8 people, whatever. We had a great tour. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, we were ahead of time, and now we're on slide 2.
Now we're done. We're out. Look, we're at 12 minutes in. We're usually not even on slides. So
that's true.
We're usually not even thinking about slides for 6 or 7 minutes.
We are a 2-bit slideshow.
Right. Robo Toyfest also happening this weekend. That is on Sunday. Zach Hoffman's going to be there, along with Greg Berger, Flint Dilley, Michael Charles Hill, Larry Houston, Lisa Raggio, Jamie Sullivan, Keona Young, and several more non-G.I. Joe related guests. Because that is the greatest line of them all, isn't it, Dan? Isn't it, Dan?
Yes. Did I answer correct?
Right there. Like and subscribe.
Hey, and Zach Hoffman was the voice of your boy. I mean, so
Right?
Zach
Hoffman.
Yeah.
Pre-Mohawk Zartan. So, I mean.
Right.
Well, and that's the question to ask him when you get to the front of the line is, was that hair or a hood?
Exactly.
Right? Zartan, redhead. Pretty sure.
Zach Hoffman is he got the premier spot because that's our boy right there.
Yeah.
He is a What's on Joe Mind veteran like 4 or 5 times at this point.
Nice.
So that's why we remember, we take care of our own. Some of those other folks have been on the show too, but they're not nearly as battle scarred as Zach Hoffman is. We made Zach Hoffman do G.I. Joe trivia.
Ooh.
Hey, Zaymot CGC needs a little education here because he only knows Greg Berger.
What?
Yeah. So I don't know all of them. I'll be honest with you. You do, Mike. Run them down.
Well, Greg Berger, of course, better known as more of a Transformers guy.
Yeah.
But he was Spirit and Firefly and a few others. He was Cutter on the old Sunbow cartoon. He was Grimlock, on Transformers. Flint Dilley was a writer for G.I. Joe. He was the head writer of Transformers at one point. Michael Charles Hill, of course, he kind of catching a fame bump off of Assembly Required last year. But wrote the infamous Cold Slither episode, among others. Zach Hoffman right there. You can see he voices Zartan. Larry Houston was one of the directors of the G.I. Joe cartoon, responsible for the opening sequence of G.I. Joe, the movie, 1987, which is that's a nice feather to have in your cap right there.
Yeah, he created one of the best things from the franchise ever, right?
Right. Full stop, best things.
He was X-Men 97 too, I think.
Who's that?
Larry Houston. I think he was involved in X-Men 97.
he got credit because they kind of follow the same model of the intro there. He directed the intro and several. He was one of the directors of and one of the main writers on the original series back in 92 to 97. But he got a credit because they basically follow that same mold and with make very few changes. Lisa Raggio is the voice of Zorana on the old Sunbow cartoon. Jamie Sullivan, of course. We're always plugging Jamie Sullivan stuff, the artist of the property. Keona Young, Storm Shadow from Sunbow, and then several more. Non-G.I. Joe guests. So Diana says she believes that he did work on 97 as well as comic book. I couldn't tell you at 97. I'll take your word for it. I don't know, but I know that at the very least, I remember seeing how he did get credit for the bones of the intro on the 97 show at the very least. So there very well could be more.
There you go.
Robo Toyfest admission, $15 in advance if you buy tickets online, $20 at the door. Ticket packages with exclusives are available online at robotoyfest.com. This is another place where if you go, you might be able to hug Phil.
Oh.
As this is happening out at the Burbank Marriott Convention Center in Burbank, California. Right, Matt Rubin says that Lisa Raggio is making lots of appearances lately for someone who didn't go to cons until recently. That is true. There was kind of a wave of folks that only found out that this market was out there because we started calling them and having them on our show.
There you go.
So if you go back in the audio archives, you will hear that story repeated several times, and now they're all con regulars.
I remember us preaching before Lisa's first show to the fans.
Yeah,
don't scare her away, right? First impressions go a long way.
Yeah.
So kudos to the community that she's still doing it, a year, 2 years later.
At the very least, everybody probably took the basic advice: deodorant up.
Yeah.
Phil says it's more than 5 minutes from his house, so unless that's Disneyland, he's probably not going.
No.
I was gonna say, does that mean no go? More than 5 minutes, so it's a no go.
Yeah, unless Disneyland. Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll wait an hour and 10 minutes to go on the Seven Dwarves Mine Train ride for the 120th time.
Hey, like Space Mountain, baby.
Hey, look, traffic on that line moves faster than the 5 because it's jammed.
That's jammed. The Space Mountain, oldest ride, longest line. Woo! See?
Oh, now Dan's gonna blade.
Right? No,
please.
Oh no!
Rob, what did you do?
Right?
Dan's just bleeding.
Has anyone ever gigged themselves live on the show? That'd be pretty good.
Maybe back in the audio days. I'm not sure, but it's possible.
I think I need more than a hot dog and a handshake to do that, though, guys.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna...
we'll get you taken care of at JoeFest.
2 hot dogs.
Right.
Oh, too hot. Wait. Okay.
Now
it's
a discussion. Yeah.
Look. He's bleeding for us. He'll need protein. Free hot dog.
We'll throw in some baked beans.
Right.
This is like a whole meal now. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. See.
And I got
coleslaw.
I got Phil Donnelly Disney fact checking me in the comments. Right.
Right.
It's a gag, Phil.
That's
why
the Seven Dwarfs is only in Orlando. I was gonna say it, but I let it go.
Right.
I'm not putting any of his comments in the live chat for that reason.
There you go.
Because I refuse to legitimize this.
Like I really want to play Disney Trivial Pursuit with Phil Donnelly. Come on, man.
That's the theme of tonight's episode, I think.
That's a quick way to an ass beating, is taking Phil on in Disney trivia.
That's it. He would grab me by the hair and go, "I'm Phil Donnelly, bitch," and then hit me with 3 of his finishers in a row, pin me clean right in the middle of the ring.
And then Mark would be all bleeding and stuff. It'd be terrible. We'd have double the blood. I can't afford 6 hot dogs. That's like a whole package. It's like a whole package.
6 hot dogs, but 8 buns. Weird.
Yeah, Yeah, it's no good. It's no good. Robo Toyfest. Get more details. robotoyfest.com. That's a segue for you. That's what the pros do right there. Next up, Heroes Convention happening. That is next week. That is out in Charlotte. We're North Carolina heavy this week, but that's okay. If they're going to put on shows, then we're gonna plug the damn shows. Heroes Convention is one of the big comic shows anywhere. June 14 to 16 at the Charlotte Convention Center out in North Carolina. You can get more details at heroesonline.com. This one too, just look, there's no way I could not put one screen with all of the guests at Heroes Con for it. So we just tried to pull out the ones from G.I. Joe. Bob Camp, Larry Hama, Jim Shooter, and God knows how many more. They may have added another 60 guests since I put this slide together. It's entirely possible. If you're a comic geek, this is one of your great shows. So be sure to check that out if you're in the area. At this point, I doubt you're making last-minute travel plans, but we just want to remind you if you're around Charlotte. We seem to have a few of those folks. Heroesonline.com for pricing and the complete and exhaustive guest list. They ever get you at that one, Dan?
I've actually never been to that one, and a good friend of mine is like one of the people that runs that show. So I don't know why I've actually never made the trip out there. So shout out to Carla.
Maybe she's not one of your great friends then. Maybe
apparently not. She's probably, that must be what it really is.
maybe she's just nice to you, and then as soon as you leave, she's like that's
fair.
Pixel Dan. He's more like Pixel Dick.
Oh, Dixel Dan, right? I mean, come on now.
See, everybody thinks I crossed the line. Everybody took a deep breath, and Dan just one-upped it.
Yeah,
that's what kind of a show this is. That we're all loose tonight. It's all good. So maybe there's a little something extra in this Cherry Coke Zero. Maybe there's not.
It's really the sugared one.
Oh, unleaded.
Anyways, there we go. Torpedo Mike asks, I was watching the replay of the Pulse stream. What did I miss? Well, you know what that means, folks. We're
no
from the top.
All right, so now we got to talk about like wrestling and stuff, and I can't remember what else we did at the beginning.
I didn't write down enough of that blather from the. We won't have the transcripts until next week.
Andrew Gauguin is imploring Racktime Rob to take the reins. He wishes he could.
Man,
I don't have the desire.
I want to see Rob disappear from his window and then just arrive in Mike's window with a cousin Vinny, just flat across. Whack! So good.
I would sell for him on the first one, but after that, I'd be no selling like a Cody.
Well, yeah, it takes three to put somebody down, right?
See, you never quite know whose side I'm on, do you? You never quite know. Never quite know.
Welcome home.
So I'm with David Warren Hernandez on this one, Mark. What headgear did we switch to there?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. All right. So that's the game we're going to play.
Something like that.
Okay. We're not going to talk about Professor Feathers.
I planned this for a long time.
That's kind of what I'm afraid of. At some point, my lack of editorial control is going to come and bite all of us in the ass. Yeah, and it may just be tonight.
It's going to be a good show.
Right.
You're here on a good night, Dan.
Yep.
I can tell.
All right.
Dan, I don't know if you know, we go weeks without real news. But tonight we actually got stuff.
We got news, and we're just killing that much time anyway. We're
trying something new. It's called content. We'll see how it goes.
Look, they wish they could provide this kind of content. We're entertaining and we like one another. That's just something that shows don't always have. Anyways, moving on. As I make my crude commentary on YouTube. Happening on June 21 to 23, it's the DFW G.I. Joe action figure show. venerable, long-standing show down in Dallas, Texas. Can't beat that, man. Great show. They are celebrating 60 years of G.I. Joe this year, as we all are, really. 1964 to 2004, as you can do the math. This is at the Grapeline Convention Center in Grapevine, Texas. But that's the DFW, right? That's the general area.
It's literally like down the street from the airport. It's close. Yep.
It's like the town Rob and I live in. You cross 96th Street and you're in our town. It's that close. But Figure Six Pack says that's cutting it close to JoeFest. It's the same weekend, guys.
Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's dropping right on top of it.
Right on top of each other.
Not close at all. It's just right there, happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
There are some big divisions in our lovely fan community over attending one of these shows over the other. To which I say, poppycock, get to one of them, because any Joe show you get to is a great Joe show. There's no reason for everybody to be drawing up stupid gang style lines in the street over things that you have no control over.
Yeah.
If it's easier for you to get to Dallas, get to Dallas. Well, maybe that's not a good plug for JoeFest, because it's not easy for anybody to get to Augusta, Georgia. Right. But so it is always easier to get to Dallas. But if you're closer to Dallas, that's an easier trip. Go to Dallas. If you're closer to Georgia and can make it to Augusta, go to Augusta. Yeah. You weren't going to both anyway. Shut up, Holly.
The only people who should be conflicted are the fans in Alabama, right? Where it's like, I don't know, or maybe Hawaii,
right in the middle.
Or Hawaii or Alaska, where it just don't matter, right?
Right.
Like,
well, no, they're gonna go to Dallas because flights land in Dallas.
That's true.
That's gonna be that's an easy one for them. You were right about Alabama. Like maybe northern Louisiana, where I doubt there are roads.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm pissing off Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going. That's
all right.
If there were roads in northern Louisiana, it would take 3 finishers to not pin them.
I mean, probably a road.
Good grief, man!
He's not going to let this go. He is not going to let this go.
No, he never does.
It's been for the past 2 months since WrestleMania.
I hope they make him the booker so he never has to lose.
You're making fun of Dan's close personal friend, Cody Rhodes. He's got a picture of him and his kids with Cody on his Facebook page. I almost used that as our promo shot just to annoy you. I was this close. Then I decided, well, having Zartan stand next to the show that's too easy. I had to go with that one.
Cody Rhodes sleeps standing up.
Of course.
Yeah. Because he don't lay down for nobody.
Okay. Yeah. I was like really trying to figure out where that was going.
Yeah.
I was just gonna let you have that one.
Yeah.
I
figured that was a mercy pause. I didn't stump
come on,
anybody
he
with
just
that one.
finally won at WrestleMania. Give him a little bit of time.
Just finally won.
God forbid. God forbid.
God forbid Roman Reigns didn't lay down for anybody for like 15
3
years. Or however long that was.
Right.
3.5 years, which in 2024 years is like 2 decades.
That's true. In fairness to Reigns, though, that was only like 22 matches.
Right.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Right. Somebody don't work TV. Cody works TV.
It's true.
Anyways,
and all the house shows.
Mm-hmm.
He works.
Making him 785-1 in his current
that's his record.
WWE return. Yeah.
Well, he took an L to Lesnar.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
a couple of them. Yeah, he took a beating. For good God, the beatings.
He'll take a beating. I'll give you that. And he was willing to drop 1 of 3 to Lesnar. So,
right.
What a man.
Look, man. We don't want Lesnar around. He's as old as me. And he's freakishly muscle bound, which means something ain't right.
Yeah.
Something ain't right.
That's a good point.
Anyways.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. DFWJoeShow.com has all the details.
Look at this guest list.
Right? Yeah. We got Daryl in the picture there because again, Daryl's our boy. Yeah. June 21st is they're there from 6 to 8 for Friday night preview. On the 22nd, they're there from 10 to 5, $9 for early bird. And then on the 23rd, wrapping up on Sunday from 10 to 3. Guests include Kirk Bazigian, Daryl DePriest, Larry Hama, Ron Rudat, and many more. It's it's like the second coming of the Hasbro design team from the 80s. So if you're into that aspect of G.I. Joe, this is the show for you. This is where all those guys are hanging out, the Doug Borneos of the world and so on and so forth. So
we got a new fan who's got the name of the night over there in the comments.
Right. Well, I mean, Rock the Farting Dad is our old friend Rock Mastrangelo, who was bothered to be with us tonight. I don't buy G.I. Joe figures anymore. I'm here for the reggae horns and to hear the Honcho's Bend, Oregon accent.
Yeah,
don't beat that.
Yeah, man.
No.
I mean, if we got a request, I kind of have to give him a couple seconds more. I think that's mandatory.
Right. This
thread, by the way, that the music is from our listener, our watcher, or whatever. I don't know how he consumes the show, but a fan of the show, Paul Sidaway, that's a live horn recording that he did for the show, which makes me worry about all of you.
Right. So YouTube, you cannot demonetize us for that.
No,
we have rights to that music. We're good. We can play it on loop as long as we want.
Right. I mean, it's Paul's. Unless it starts making money, then it's
unless
ours.
he decides to copy strike you. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's why he gave it to us. It's never going to make any money here.
Right. I have all the receipts, man. I've got the emails. So we've established ownership, right? So yeah, you can use it.
Yeah, man. Heavy.
He's in. Heavy man.
Heavy man. Oh, and by the way, and many more. Here's a suck up plug. You could say, instead of many more, you could say Bobby Vala. Check out the Valaverse booth, right?
There you go.
With their Bone Collector exclusive. And did I write Bone Collector's file card back in the day? I don't know. He's a bad guy from Tucson, Arizona. So figure that one out yourself.
Nobody likes Tucson. So again, if you're anywhere around the Dallas Metroplex, this is a great place for you to be on the 21st through the 23rd. Admission is $15 to $50, depending on what kind of ticket package you buy. That's all available online. Again, that is at dfwjoeshow.com. Maybe the longest running Joe show on the market these days. They've been doing this a long time. So nice to see them step up a little bit. This is a bigger show than they've done before, so good on them. But moving forward, look at how happy Daryl is now that he's escaped us.
Right. And the second that show is over, he is gone. Oof.
That stuff, it pre-packs itself. It just
and
in the car and gone.
Now look, Daryl's not my boss anymore, so I don't have this is not considered a kiss up. But one of the reasons I loved working for Daryl is, unlike most VPs, he loved being at shows. He liked talking to fans. He loved working the floor, right? And when I say working the floor, he wasn't out there like, hey, come to our booth. No, he was looking for stuff for him.
Yeah, he was looking for another Cobra Bug.
Yeah, exactly. Cobra Bug. He bought a Cobra Bug, brought it back to our booth, and put it behind the glass because he had nowhere else to put it. I'm like, Daryl, fans are coming up here looking at what we've got coming out. He's like, oh, they won't notice. I'll hide it behind the side. Come on, man.
The side is like this big.
Nope, nobody's looking at the giant hot green,
right?
Double deluxe toaster oven that you've got in the bottom shelf of the case there. Nobody at all.
Dude, for like 2 hours, I was manning that booth on my own because Daryl was doing the floor, which is fine. We each took our turns, but he dropped off a bug and then went back hunting. And so I had to adapt the speech, right? And be like, hey, welcome to the Hasbro booth. I'm Mark. Can I answer any questions aside from no, we're not making a new bug?
I have to come clean that there were a number of times when I would see a crowd there and then just say to nobody in particular, I think they're making a bug.
Yeah, right.
So there
go check it out. It's at the booth.
There were a lot of times where because look at the bottom shelf. I think they're doing a bug.
I think they got a bug prototype down there.
Prototype,
Like a new
yeah,
one,
that's
a new one.
it's
Yeah.
like an Easter egg. You got to go find it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if I was like, hey, how many new items do I get this year? 3. Can one of them be a bug? Only 2. It would be great.
I accidentally told an entire convention that this was coming.
Right? You only get 3. Cool. I'll make a bug, a defiant, and the flag. Let's go.
Maybe if we've got time, we'll throw in a hammerhead. Who knows?
I tried when I had that limited item count. I tried to make, how they made 7 packs before. I wanted to make a 9 pack. And they were like, we know what you're doing, Webb. And I'm like, no, dude, it'll be great. 9 pack. Imagine.
Outstanding.
So good.
Nobody's done 9. Jeff Butler says, I bought Pixel Dan book at DFW last year.
Attaboy.
Heck yeah, man.
So right
Thank
there.
you.
Did you buy it? Was it a bootleg copy or was
Oh,
it?
Yeah.
Because Pixel Dan wasn't at DFW last year, was he?
I was at DFW.
Oh, well, there you go then. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
I was at that show. I loved it.
All
I had
right.
a great time at that show.
What the heck? So you've been on this Joe-Naissance for longer than just a year at this point.
I know, it's crazy. I think we talked about that before. Like when I got that invite to that show, I was like, I get invites to G.I. Joe shows now. This is crazy.
Yeah, look, man, it's
Now I got JoeFest coming up, so it's my and I would have been back at this one, but it was the same weekend, and JoeFest asked first, so I had to turn this one down.
right.
Like seriously, it's going to be an awesome show, and if you guys are going,
Same here.
Yeah, you know. we get around a lot.
Right. Although Jeff did get his "What's on Joe" Mind pen there, and we were not there, so I forget who I sent
was
those
that a
along with.
bootleg?
It could have been, but
Maybe.
but I forget who I sent those along with. I think maybe if you went to Roma Collectibles or I forget who had pens last year.
We need to tighten up our copywriting.
Right, clearly. Anyway, same weekend. Who knew? JoeFest happened in June 21 to 23, but we've been telling you about that all winter and spring because we're going to be guests there. That includes me and the Honcho and Racktime Rob, Sergeant Slaughter, Morgan Lofting, Dan Larson will be there, and many others.
Everyone on this show will be there.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Right.
you're not doing a good job of no selling Pixel Dan here, guys. I'm trying to. I clearly went to consciously
I know.
exclude him.
Dan
from the
Larson
list.
got listed, and I didn't.
Right,
The
former
other
guest of the
Dan.
Wow.
The
former
other
guest
Dan.
of the show, Dan Larson.
Man.
That was
a
the
guy
first
who was
Dan.
he was on the show before you, Pixel Dan. He
Well, that's
was
just
he,
That's just
So
disrespectful.
back
Pixel
in the
Dan?
audio day.
Pixel Dan is backup Dan? He's like second
No.
string Dan? That's tough.
We're going to have a Dan off to the side.
Dan.
Billy
Ladies and
Zane will
gentlemen,
judge.
Yeah.
Captain of the junior varsity. It's Pixel Dan, everybody. There you go.
Boo.
How you
I
gonna
said
do
we
like
have a
that?
Dan off.
That's rough.
Toy Kind of Mood says they're looking forward to meeting us all there. Finally, what's on Joe Mind? Look, Joe Colton and I were there back in 2019, and nobody cared at all. So, Pixel Dan will be no selling Mike's verbal chops. But yeah, Travis says guests also include a Toy Kind of Mood, a bunch of other channels that don't matter. It works for me.
Yeah.
Works for me. That's fine. Tickets and information available at JoeFestUSA.com. And don't forget too that our good friend Patch Czar has these Staff Sergeant C-Nugs flag patches available at his booth. They are limited to $25, $15 a piece at his booth in the back left corner. All proceeds benefit Canines for Warriors. He is not making a dime on this. He's not even covering his costs on this. So be sure to get yourself there. Ask if they've got the chicken nugget patch, and he should be able to help you out. Again, booth 160. It's in if you're walking in the building, it's back left. He's kind of got his own zone back there.
And if you want to throw in a little extra, like every iPad that gets put in front of you these days where it says tip, throw in a little extra. Canines for Warriors. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. The finest will be there, if nothing else, collecting for Canines for Warriors. So
if you've never paid $20 for a 1-pack of chicken nuggets, Now is your opportunity. Yeah.
That's coming soon everywhere.
Diana Davis says that Larson is good peeps. He's been subject to weird childish abuse from other channels and he just ignores it like a grown arse man. We've subjected Dan to weird childish abuse, but it's the fun kind. So not the weird kind, like weird with a capital W kind. Because God forbid you do things that some people enjoy, some other assholes got to come out of the woodwork and hate on it. We're not big enough in any regard for people to hate on us at all. They don't waste the effort. But Pixel Dan, like people actually watch your shows, so you're familiar with that. You've had weirdos come out of the woodwork
once or twice.
It's the internet, so that once or twice is once or twice a minute,
a day,
right?
Yeah.
Right. That's really the one benefit of not being at all recognized for your hard work is that those assholes just don't bother. Yeah, all right, good on us. We'll roll with our 1,400 and some dedicated mad people. But and then of course that's the map there of the booth for Patch Czar.
Proving that the phrase "no man is an island" is an absolute lie.
Yeah, because Patch Czar is an island.
Yeah,
but he'll need it because there'll be a lot of traffic in that booth.
They gave him they put him there, yeah, so he'd have room for the line.
Similarly, Techno Viper 3D, our friend Michael Kleppinger from the G.I. Joe 3D printing podcast, put together a bunch of these Staff Sergeant CNUG in action figures. They will also be available at JoeFest. I think we're going to have those. We just got to figure out where we're going to have those. And I keep asking him what he wants to charge, and he hasn't told me yet. But we will have that information for you before we get in the truck and head out that way. Mark, are we picking you up at the airport?
It'd be nice.
All right. Dan, are we picking you up at the airport?
I have no idea, but yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right.
I could hitchhike, but I'll arrive sunburnt.
I haven't been given any ride info yet, so.
Right. So Mark,
whoever wants to do it first, they're the one.
Mark, you're in at 9 p.m., right?
Something like that.
So
I try to come in after dark so I don't have to, get the sun on me.
Right. So moonburnt is the correct phrase, but it is the facts all the same.
The last time I was at JoeFest, on my way out, I was in like an airport shuttle with a really, really nice guy who was interested in, maybe starting his own thing. Ben Conway, who's got all your Skeletron stuff now. So look how our boys have grown up. It's like,
right. Look, this is the show that launched 1,000 ships.
Yep.
I promise you, if you can think of a fan-driven enterprise tangentially connected to G.I. Joe, we probably had them on before you knew who they were. And it's your fault for not listening.
Exactly.
Specifically, your fault, Mark.
Well, I'll take it.
There's a bunch of people in the comments wanting to know if they can also get rides from the airport. So
look,
I'm just throwing that out there in case you guys.
I'm just saying, ass, grass, or cash is all I'm saying. Rec Ship 85 asks, can we get a Night Force Staff Sergeant CNUGs next? Look, that is entirely up to the gentleman in charge of these projects. We have merely provided inspiration. I am taking no credit for this, and not because I hate it. I love it, but I am not nearly talented enough to do either of these projects in any sense. So, like, if you gave me a marker and told me to color in the Staff Sergeant CNUG's eyes, I would screw that up. So there's no hand. I am built to destroy, not to build. So, yeah, it's this is all about Patch Czar Mike and all about Techno Viper 3D Mike. This is not about what's on Joe Mind Mike. Right. Look, those chain emails are. I don't know who's talking to who at any given time. So I've stopped calling them Mike. They're just 3D and Patch. That's what they are. And when I'm writing the email, and then they write back Mike, and I don't know who they're talking to. But we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Viper Scout says Mike takes mint 86 beachheads as rideshare payments. That is correct.
Ooh, that's a good.
That is correct.
And also slightly floppy 86 beachheads. Mike doesn't discriminate, really.
Right. Like near mint, fine. Average, fine. Good, fine. Even the bad ones, they've got that lived-in feel.
Do you have any broken thumbs?
A couple.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what would make you go, nah, I don't think so, on one to acquire. Like, would you acquire one with missing a forearm?
I have one that is missing a forearm.
Right, but would you buy a new one that was missing a forearm?
It depends. Like there's people out there that say, "Oh, well, Beachhead's rare. He's only got one arm, so I'm going to charge $86 for him." No. But if somebody's selling one for 10, yeah, I'd throw that one in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd do that one. Look, Mark, there's one of them that has that is lift ticket from the waist down. He's in the collection.
Right.
We do not have high standards.
Cool. Yeah, if he's missing an arm, you just call him Lefty. You're good.
Right. That is what he is called.
All right.
That's what it is. Anyways, we heaven forbid we're sidetracked.
What happened?
And then, of course, as we announced last week, happening in the panel room on Saturday at 4 p.m. That's us hosting the Morgan Lofting panel. So stop by and say hey to everybody's favorite Baroness. I hear she's going to be in attendance. So again, don't freak out, Morgan Lofting. I got to touch base with her. We have to figure out what we're doing for this thing. So yeah.
Don't you just do that when you walk in? You sit down. Hey, what do you want to do? What do you want to talk about?
Like we have bits planned. We have bits planned. We need to actually touch base with her.
Yeah.
But Michael Culpinger here says that he tested a Night 4 Staff Sergeant Senugs black with orange glow in the dark paint. It was the stuff of nightmares.
Oh wow.
I think you need to let the people decide that, Michael.
Right. Probably looked like an electrocuted Pac-Man ghost, right? Like, yeah, this is a good idea.
Andrew Galgan asks, will someone record the What's on Joe Mind panel? We are coming in with a camera jockey. I don't know if it's going to be the property of JoeFest or not. I don't know what kind of retention rights we have on this. We probably won't be able to show their footage, but I don't know if there's anything about us creating our own. So I would like to, but I'm going to abide by whatever the folks at JoeFest tell me in that one.
Yeah, we play nice.
We will. I will keep everyone posted as it happens, but that's not going to be until we're actually on the ground at JoeFest. And then of course, this guy will be there.
Hey,
that's right. Yeah,
that's me.
Look at that. There we go.
And
that guy
and Zardan.
Dude, I'm there. That guy owes me money.
No, you guys owe me hot dogs.
Oh,
now that it actually happened, now that whole extended gag of ignoring Dan went through, that was too long. That was entirely too long, and I apologize. When you're just putting together slides, you have no concept of, well, we'll whip right through those. We don't whip right through anything. And so yeah, I apologize, Dan. That's my bad.
Okay, it's fine. Coming to JoeFest with my He-Man book. Guys, that still feels weird, but
look,
I
man,
appreciate it.
It's a good book and people like it.
Thank you. No, I'm excited. I'm excited to be there.
And so because
there he
again,
is
to
again.
try and make it up for you, I did ask Dan in advance what other stops he was making, and he gave me this one. And here he is doing a book signing at a bookstore with Dan Larson, who I understand has written 2 less books than you, Dan.
That's true. He has not written any books.
He has written 0 books. And yet he is doing a bookstore signing with a 2-time book author.
Well, I think it's just a toy store appearance. So it doesn't I guess mine's a book signing and he's just there.
Don't let him sign your book is all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah. I'll watch him.
You make him sign his own book.
Look, it's the best Dan toy spectacular.
I guess that
the best Dan toy spectacular you'll see all summer.
That does say Sergeant Red's Toys and Collectibles, so I am mistaken. This is where? Somewhere in Michigan.
Utica, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that up? Where on the mitten is that?
I'm not. I think it's.
I'm asking the guy. I'm asking the guy from the middle of Illinois where something is on the mitten.
That's what I mean, man. I'm in the middle of a cornfield. I don't know anything about where anything is. I know it's north of me.
Right.
It's in Michigan.
It's on that Mackinac Island somewhere. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Great.
Or that Upper Peninsula that I didn't know
don't
was
go up the
part.
Upper Peninsula.
I didn't know that.
There.
I literally did not know.
So weird,
that was,
right?
I didn't know that was part of the U.S. till like 6th grade, and even then I questioned it. You sure that's not a part of Canada that's like drifting? Come on.
Yeah, and why is it part of? So weird.
It's like Musylvania. Basically, Canada says it's part of the U.S., so we say it's part of Canada.
Wow, it's unwanted.
Look, it's Rob making it's Rob making an antiquated reference that 3 people in the audience have caught.
Yeah, but I was
but that's okay. That's kind of why he's here.
Yeah, you're not getting this stuff on 3CP2.
That's right.
So, anyways, this is the point in the show where we take a minute to check out Dan's facial expression and try to figure out exactly the moment of they were so nice back in December. That's what's going through his head. They were so pleasant back in December, and all I'm doing is getting abused today.
That was the friggin' holiday season, man.
Right?
Oh yeah,
everybody
was all jolly and
real life,
goodwill towards men and everything, and now just the gloves are off. So
now we're back in our normal. You're a veteran now. You get abused.
Yep. December is a time of magic. It's a time of forgiveness. It's a time to forget my friggin' birthday. All that stuff.
We did not do that. We did our 2nd annual posting of Mark Webber as the Grinch.
I like that.
I know it's one of those. It's one of the few times that Mark will just send me a text out of the blue. Like, yeah, you got it. Yeah.
I can't wait for year 3 is going to be phenomenal. Right?
He's just plotting at all time ruin Christmas in Whoville.
Yep.
But that's it. That's all. Community calendar. Thank God. And look, we're done with it a full 20 minutes earlier than we normally are.
Yeah.
Can you beat that? That's economy is what that is.
Might be a record.
Right. We still have other news to get past besides, because, other stuff did happen besides the live stream today. But hey,
we better hustle.
Right. Maybe we'll get to it. Maybe. There you go. Psychedelic, kind of. Not compared to all the other intros we've used. Remember, community calendar brought to you by Roma Collectibles. Visit them at Roma Collectibles, the toy store out in Springfield, Ohio. That's not Dan Springfield. That's the one in Ohio. They are closed Monday and Tuesday, open Wednesday through Saturday, 12 to 7, Sunday, 12 to 5. They are always buying collections. Just if you smoke, don't be upset if they don't buy yours. That's gross. But as you see there, the proprietors, Happy, AA Ron, and Mary Mercenary, always cordial, always happy to see you. But please, no sudden movements and make no direct eye contact. They will attack. They will attack.
It's like a New York subway.
Right. They look safe to Dan and Rob from the back, but on this side, a lot of teeth. A lot of teeth. With big, sharp, nasty, pointy teeth.
It goes like this.
Oh my God. Get caught up on my live chat there.
Ooh, Wreck Ship 85 with a really good point, because this is breaking news unless we're covering it later.
Yeah, no, we actually are not. I did not put slides in because there were already too many slides. But Roma does have some cool JoeFest explosive figures. Be sure to check those out. You can get them on Facebook, or we shared them on our Facebook page as well. So if you're around searching for Roma Collectibles, you'll see them. They've got a Night Force Stalker and a Night Ops Cobra Sniper. So very cool stuff, available in very limited quantities. So if you decide that those meet the apple of your eye, be sure to hit the Roma Collectibles booth real quick. They're in the front left. If you come into the main room at JoeFest, front left.
Night 4 Stalker doesn't seem like that long a walk.
No,
next year I hope it's Day Ops Snake Eyes, and he's just like in yellow and white, just like, here I am, ninja on the force.
Right. Rekship says, that being said, they're limited, so watch out for a large man running faster than he's ever run in his life to their booth.
Hopefully we get 2 and they collide.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a toy show, so that's always really in the back of your head.
Yep.
You don't ever want to get too comfortable.
Look, I'm a big guy too, but seeing the big guys try to run with their 2 bags full of swag at San Diego Comic-Con is one of the best things ever, right? Oh, I missed the panel. Oh.
That kind of is our claim to fame. We are the burliest of the G.I. Joe podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely.
We bring the hammer.
Arby's doesn't have the meats. We got the meat.
In Augusta, Georgia, we'll be at the cookout because they have the meats, the deep fried meats.
We will also be at the James Brown statue because James Brown.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for the news. Is it just my computer, or did that play twice?
It played once, but you were muted.
You were muted for a while.
For me, it played twice.
Can you do it again?
No, not if I don't know how I did it that time.
All right.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, we'll get it in post. Maybe, or Mark just may want us to do it live. First
Do it
news
live.
item.
Do.
Hey, there was a Kickstarter.
Kinda.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it wasn't it was a kick, all right. Skybound Entertainment put their G.I. Joe Compendium project funded in 6 freaking minutes. It is open from now until June 26th, until 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can pick a Joe set or a Cobra set. There's all kinds of stretch goals depending on which set you pick. Joe set is a tasteful blue. Cobra is a red. I don't know how Cobra didn't get the blue one in that, but whatever. Racktime Rob, you're our senior Kickstarter correspondent. What is this thing sitting at right now?
Let's see. A quick refresh. 4,847 backers for a grand total of $1,740,656 on a goal of 50,000.
Right.
Holy cow. Dang.
If you pledge in the next couple hours, you may be the one that kicks them into that. I think it's 12th stretch goal.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they, Kickstarters, they tend to lull in the middle, so they're going to get a big finish.
I was going to say a lot of people wait till the last minute, so it's going to
be a bump at the end.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
People
are all like, I don't want to see Glenda in that. It'd be a waste.
Craig Cohen says, shameless self-plug. My YouTube buddy is finally watching the show. Maybe because of Pixel Dan. Maybe. He's only got 49 to go, if that's the case. Only
I was one down,
right.
49 to go.
Jim Smith says tier 12 will unlock tomorrow, unless they hit the lull, Jim. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Oh, wait.
Man.
Jake Rose, this is so lame. It is already stalled out at under 2 million. Who wants this? The internet.
The internet.
There you go.
That could be the quote of the night right there. That could be the one. That's I have to try and figure out how to make a t-shirt out of that, is what that is. Diana Davis notes that the next stretch goal is more signed Larry Hama book plates. So that is good to know.
Larry's going to get carpal tunnel.
Right. Don't break the Hama.
Yeah, it'd be kind of ironic if the legacy of this Kickstarter was it's the one that broke Larry Hama's hand. Right?
I mean, speech to text. Maybe that's the way to go.
Guy survived as a legit soldier and then got beat up by Kickstarter.
Right. I mean, a legitimate soldier, and then furthermore in Hollywood, no less.
Oh, that's right.
It's even
man.
more. Anybody who survives that's clearly tough as a $2 steak. But
yeah,
Fire,
came home from combat to the most oppressive environment known to man, Hollywood.
because apparently war was not enough. He needed more abuse. Firefly, what an unpopular comic. I backed it. It's one of those things. It's as we said last week. It's amazing to me that how surprised these corporate types get when Joe fans back projects like this. It is amazing to me because we really don't fail to answer the bell very often. Even people who back inferior toy lines like Pixel Dan know not to mess with Joe fans when there's a Kickstarter on the line.
Nope, you're right though. Joe fans do always show up. Always.
We get out for our stuff.
And then, every so often, just to test the depths of our fandom, they'll actually make some terrible entertainment for us. And we'll digest it and spit it out and go, we'll see you again in 5-6 years when you make something else crappy.
Catch you on the reboot.
I think the most important thing they keep forgetting is that during the mid 80s, kind of a boom time for comics and Marvel comics particularly, G.I. Joe sold X-Men and Spider-Man numbers.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
Better. Yeah. X-Men and Spider-Man were selling good numbers, and G.I. Joe was on top of it.
Just occurred to me that G.I. Joe's kind of like the Aliens franchise, right? Where it's still kicking based on the early stuff, but everything they've done for ages has been garbage. Right?
That's a good relation to the Alien stuff.
To this day, when they announce a new Aliens movie, I'm like, well, maybe. Even though I know I've walked out of the last 7 going, it kind of sucked.
Look, man, I'm going to defend Joe Animation in saying that they have not all been terrible.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Renegades was great. Resolute was Renegades. Okay. The high points of Resolute were fantastic. The low points of Resolute were kind of
yeah.
But there have been good animated projects. Even Extreme was a good cartoon.
Extreme.
It was just the 90s, so they all kind of looked crappy then.
Yeah, but you can take the pretty good Extreme and the really good Renegades and the really good Resolute and average it in with Sigma 6, and you've got some crappy entertainment, baby. Let me tell you.
Man. Even Sigma 6 got better as it went along. But
it had to, right?
Right. It mostly because
else for it to go.
It couldn't continue to bounce along the ocean floor.
Mike, if the first time I see you in Augusta, you go for the high five or the fist bump and I kick you in the junk, I guarantee the rest of the day is going to go better.
Michael Kleppinger asks for Diana Davis, does Skybound have the rights to all of Real American Hero as well as the Hama stuff from Devil's Due, or only the Marvel run? It's not a question for us to answer. We know they got. I assume they have the rights to reprint whatever they want because Hasbro is the licensor in that, not Devil's Due or IDW or anybody like that. Like Hasbro has the rights to pass along. Now, did Skybound pick them up? We don't know. Might be a whole other deal. But that's a good question for them. Maybe fire off an email to Skybound. Let us know how it goes. But yeah, so too far. No, that's I took out the other one apparently. But yeah, so head over to Kickstarter, type in G.I. Joe Compendium, it'll pop right up for you in the search. Because they're what else? I think it was on their front page the last time I went to look. So you might not even have to put that much work into it. But check this one out. If you it's expensive, it's pricey. Won't lie to you there. It's $300 plus shipping for one set of books. But just remember, there's a lot of bonuses there, and it's a really, really well bound and well put together and great set.
Yeah,
so,
and with that $300 is one set of books, but it's 4 books that have everything.
And with that, let's go to our Skybound correspondent, Diana Davis, who's got breaking news.
There we go. Hasbro does. Skybound can get whatever they want if they need. If they ask. So as long as Hasbro wants them reprinted, there we go. There you go.
It might not make too much sense for them to reprint a lot of like, the Devils do or IDW's own continuity while they're trying to start their own up.
Right. But maybe the stuff that was in the Hama continuity.
Yeah, like I said, they're printing the Hama continuity as it's going, so this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Kudos to Diana for having the 411, especially because I thought the 411 was jammed.
That's the 405.
Oh, that was jammed too. I mean, hell, it's California. It's all jammed.
It's jammed.
You can get the needles if you need to.
Next news item.
Do.
Hey, look at that. It's another theoretical release from Hyatt Toys.
Mm-hmm.
You can see there they have gone to Stalker. And he looks pretty cool. I don't mean to criticize the work that Haya is doing in regards to demand, but it is starting to get funny in regards to how many of these damn things are on pre-order, and they've put out like two or three figures. So
isn't it just two? Isn't it just Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow?
I don't know.
I think it's just two.
Yeah. You're the one who's been pre-ordering. I haven't touched them.
Dude, that's what I'm coming for JoeFest for, baby. I want to double my Haya Toys collection. Because I only got one. So
all right. But that is the 1/18th Exquisite Stalker. It is going on pre-order, well, now. It's about $25. Remember that it's going to be imported, so most likely you're going to find it for a little bit more than that. It is expected in spring of 2025, which you'd figure is plenty of lead time, but I know we were announcing these 2 years ago, and those figures haven't shown up yet. Machine gun, submachine gun, a pistol, a knife, a rifle holster that hold his gun on his back. Got a removable beret, a walkie-talkie. He's got that scarf thing like his classified counterpart. Got an extra set of hands, and he brought his mudhole stomping boots.
Mudhole stomping boots. I love that.
So make no mistake, Stalker is here to whip you into shape and to bust some ass.
And Tim Peterson's got my answer to my softball question.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Cobra Commander was the third announced Haya figure. It was due out in January of this year. So, well,
and it's June.
Yeah, it's June, and it was probably I'm thinking that they put out it may have been winter of 2022. Like it could have been 2 years lead on that.
Whoa.
Right.
Yeah,
like, I know that at the beginning of things, 2021, 2022, we were still feeling the effects of supply line issues from the pandemic, but you got to figure most of them have cleared up by now.
Let me just speak from experience. Whoever the brand manager is at Haya Toys on this line,
right.
Keep a box in your office, my friend.
Right. Make sure that your designers are well taken care of. But at the same time, maybe the distribution guys need a pep talk.
Polish that resume.
Right. Keep everything up to date.
Mm-hmm.
Everything up to date. Next news item. Hey, also releasing this week, Fresh Monkey Fiction and Big Bad Toy Store open pre-orders. It's been a couple of days on the Order of the Crimson Moon. That is how Fresh Monkey likes to do their crowdfunding. They do pre-orders with Big Bad Toy Store. It's something that's worked out great for them going get to this point. We've had Bill on the show a couple times to talk about his projects, trying to get him back. It's more because I've been too busy to ask for a whole lot of guests. We have to find really obscure, desperate types to come on.
Yeah.
Guys, yeah. That new blood who's just looking for their big break. Yeah.
Oh, I can't help it. But again, Order of the Crimson Moon is a 1/12 scale figure line. This particular wave checking in at $37.99 a piece. Unlocked at the beginning of this campaign: Count Iron Moon, Major Noir, Wolfsbane, Crimson Moon Trooper, Crimson Moon Legionnaire, Crimson Moon Exterminator, because they have bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Unlocking at 3,000 units, and they are getting there. They're about 2,300 when I looked this afternoon. Order of the Crimson Moon. That's a dude, by the way. That's I think he's kind of an army builder. More figures will unlock at higher goals. They have not made that clear yet as to when that's going to happen. If you want information about the story and the lore of Order of the Crimson Moon, freshmonkeyfiction.com. If you want to get it on the pre-sales, bigbadtoystore.com. Gonna jump back to the camera shot here. So yeah, your eyes are not deceiving you. It's kind of a mix of 70s werewolf movie with the red shadows from Action Force. But it's kind of a neat story they've put together around it. It is that logo is just different enough so that they won't get in a whole lot of trouble about it. But it's fun to have the opportunity to build those red shadows characters in a classified scale. So if that's something that's important to you, this is going to be a particular interest.
And look at the chest cut that's not there on 2 of them at least, right?
Right. That one dude's got a coat. Another guy smartly wearing black. I believe that's Major Noir. And then
look how good it looks.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're not wrong.
Loving it.
You're not wrong. Pixel Dan, you in on this?
I like Fresh Monkey Fiction stuff a lot too. I've really been liking the stuff they've been putting together, and like you were talking about too, this is kind of their way of doing a Kickstarter, but it's nice because you don't have to pay for these until they fund and ship, right? Because it's a Big Bad Toy Store pre-order. So like if this is something you're interested in, go put that order in. It's not gonna hurt you none right now, and then they can get to the numbers that they need, and you'll get some cool figures at the end. So
yeah, I forget how they do it. I think they might collect and then refund if it doesn't meet the numbers. But because I did pick up some of the 4-inch guys that we talked with Bill a little bit ago, and some of his some of the Hero Legends figures. I got all the Tick ones coming to me there.
Those are great. The long box heroes you talking about?
Right.
Yeah. So good.
And so they were all in my pile of loot, so they're all on their way to me now. But yeah, I forget because I didn't pay any more when I cashed in my pile of loot last week. So my thinking is that they collect when you pledge, and then if it doesn't make it again, I'm not sure. Check up at Fresh Monkey Fiction and at Big Bad Toy Store if you want that clarified. Let's see. I'm just real quick checking live chat. So, but yeah, that's there for you. And that's about all I got on it because, frankly, we still got a lot of news to cover. And yeah, anyhow, at some point, Dan and Mark have jobs. Rob is a shiftless layabout. He doesn't know.
I'm not looking down my nose at anybody. Hey, it's kind of rare, but yeah,
right. News has been weird and scattered and scarce, except every once in a while there's a week like this, and it's a week where we've
the way it goes though.
It's got a week where we've got a guest, and it's all this other stuff.
All right, I'm here for it.
It's just right, good, because there will be a quiz at the end of the show.
If this pace is too fast for any of you fans out there, stick with us. Come back next week.
Right?
Did you
have to all the live chatters? Again, this is going to be it's a show where I know it's a lot of us and not so much of you guys. I apologize. We'll make it up to you later. I'm sorry, Dan, you were saying?
I was going to say, did you have the picture of the Order of the Crimson Moon character? Because I saw he looks very.
I didn't put it in there. Yeah, he's very
hooded Cobra Commander. He is what he looks like, except he's wearing red.
Right. He's very car salesman Cobra Commander. That's probably more accurate. I mean, White Vegeta's talking about the JoeFest ramen toys Tantec. Look, I didn't have time. I know it's out there. We'll maybe talk more about it next week when there's less news.
Yeah,
but
it looks good.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It does.
They're kind of using it with Mauler language. It doesn't look like a Mauler, but it looks good. And next news item. Hey, coming up tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. Good Lord, this year. Stop. Anyways, the Duke trade paperback is hitting shelves. That is a compilation of Duke's issues 1 through 5. You can see the cover there. That is from the first issue of Duke. There's an alternate cover version with the cover from number 4. You know the credits. Joshua Williamson wrote it. Tom Riley on pencils. Jordi Belair on colors. Dan, did you pick up the Duke comic?
I did not.
You're dead to me, Dan.
To be fair, I haven't picked up any comics, so it's not
right.
Not just this.
He's waiting for the trade.
That's right. I much
Yeah.
prefer to read in trades.
I mean, you missed the Ninja Turtle cameo in issue 3,
Right?
so
Well, that's awesome.
right. Yeah, look. Mm.
Yeah, and when
Guess I
Duke's in
better
the
go get issue
slammer,
3.
when Duke's in the slammer, man, he grows his hair out and it's kind of sashy blonde around his shoulders. Yeah, it's kind of a
You got me. I'm
kind
in.
of a throwback. Yeah.
When he gets the power submachine gun, it's all bets are off.
Yeah.
Good.
Next news item.
Do.
Someday we may have a rack time talking about the Duke series. I don't know. There isn't time for these things.
We know the funds for that.
Also coming tomorrow from Skybound, it's the beginning of the Scarlet miniseries. This is also going to be a 5-issue run, written by Kelly Thompson, pencils by Marco Ferrari, colors Lee Loffridge. It is rated R for red.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to it. I have to admit, I have been pleasantly overwhelmed by how good the Duke and Cobra Commander series were. And really the Transformers book as well, and just the Energon universe in general. So Dan, there's a trade out there. It's real easy. You can pick one of them up tomorrow.
Okay, I will.
Get caught up on your Duke stuff. Look, it's legitimately good. You will enjoy it.
I've heard very good things. I really have. I'm just really bad about keeping up with everything in comics. I haven't read all the He-Man comics that they've been putting out. So I mean,
come on,
it's
Dan.
not
That's
just
That's
you know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, are you
right.
sure? It's fine.
It's fine. That's fine.
Okay, that's good. Shoo.
It's all right.
You want a spoiler?
Don't tell
There's
my
a
own
big-
fandom.
There's a big threat, and then Adam turns into He-Man, and it's all over. Just like that.
Right.
It's
It's
like
just
Super.
Whoa,
it's
whoa,
Superman.
whoa! Spoiler alert! Come on,
It's like
man.
like a Superman comic,
It's not at all
right,
like
Rob?
Superman comic.
Right, Rob? Oh,
Not in the
you mean
least.
the bad guys have kryptonite.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they're just really big and strong,
Oh, okay.
but Superman actually has to fight stuff. He just
Well,
doesn't.
I hope he has a chance with that limited power set.
Just doesn't throw a sword in the air and scare everybody away.
Sometimes there's a giant monkey.
He's got
with kryptonite
big
vision.
muscles. I mean, come on,
Right?
big
Yeah.
muscles.
I mean, like he's like
and a battle cat. What
right.
else has a
I mean,
battle cat
And a
I'm not gonna begrudge
and a
giant
tan.
cat.
He does have a good tan.
That's why Mark is sour on He-Man. He's able to tan.
Oh, boo! No, I look like most internet tough guys. I'm just going to pound away on my keyboard, right, and make fun of the person doing stuff. Because I don't know what that sword does, but it must be tremendous,
Right. It's
right? You don't want to find
out
out.
of this world.
Right? Yeah.
Andrew Galgan doing our word for us. Mid-show appeal. Hit that like button to let us fight the almighty YouTube algorithm.
Right.
Be sure to leave a big person comment down below as well. And of course, subscribe to the channel because frankly, Dan's livelihood depends on it.
Great. Yes.
If we don't get that bonus 50 subscriber Pixel Dan bump, we're coming after him with bogus copyright claims.
Oh, what? Whoa, no. It's the bane of all YouTubers' existence.
Right. It's
I'll be clearing those up for weeks.
That's a little in joke for our fans who watch the dramatic stations.
Yeah.
Anyways, Dustin Jeffrey says Battle Cat is greater than Dr. Soxo the Rock and Roll Cat. That is poppycock. That is an absolute lie.
Or maybe Poppy Sock.
It's Poppy Socks.
Mm.
Meow. 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 Meow.
Leave that poor cat alone.
That is his favorite thing in the world. When we go to my dad's, that is what he wants me to do. He doesn't leave me alone unless I try to kick him around. He's a weirdo. He's a roughhouser.
He's been institutionalized.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But anyways,
then he wandered off to fight a giant mouse. It was,
Hey,
Right.
kudos for the right-handed Scarlet. You know, I'm a stickler for that stuff.
oh my God.
Mhm.
So if you like Duke and you like Cobra Commander, you'll probably like Scarlet. So be
Mhm.
sure to check that one out. Next news item.
Do-do-do-do-do.
More Skybound bits. June 12th, we'll see Transformers 9. And then on June 19th, the Cobra Commander trade paperback and Destro #1. Destro #1 got cut off there somehow. I forgot it last week, and I know I put it in this week, and it just isn't there. I don't know what's up with that.
You clearly didn't put it in there. I don't see anything.
I didn't see it.
Maybe sometimes, like, I use the shareware version of PowerPoint, so sometimes weird things happen on my slides.
Yeah, I didn't see it, Mike, but I haven't been paying attention either. So
Right. I swear it was there. Anyhow, next news item.
do.
Oh, there's no more news items. Well, there's plenty more news items, but we're going to put the break here just so everybody can grab a freaking drink or something.
Mhm.
But stay with us. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. We'll talk all about the Hasbro Pulse live stream from earlier today after a quick word from our friends and sponsors at Kokomo Toys.
smoke them if you got them.
Stick with us.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
Usually as much community calendar and news as we have for an episode right there. And we can't keep it under 2 hours and 20 minutes. But this time we're like at an hour 20, humming along, getting all the gags in, making fun of Dan, making fun of He-Man, doing all the things we need to do.
Mhm.
And so where does that go when there's... Anyways, moving on. Next news item.
Do.
That's right. Hasbro Pulse's G.I. Joe launch of Yojo June was this morning. And we're going to take it a little out of order, but it's going to be the order that we normally take. So we know. Whatever you think we missed, we know.
Are we? Because I wasn't at the pre-show. Are we doing them in the order the images leaked?
I don't know if that's possible. Because God knows, I stopped paying attention. All I know is when I rip stuff off, it is directly from the surveillance port. Because when you rip off pictures, you get them from the best. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Don't give them credit, though. Make sure you don't give them credit.
Well, I mean, I am right now, but
He just did. It's too late.
I've blown the whole thing. But anyways, first up is of course the name reveal, and that was given at the end of the panel. It is Footloose. Mark Weber, your bad take on this has been sponsored by Depends Undergarments.
Can you imagine how big Loose's diaper will be at the 6-inch scale?
When your shit gets a little loose, Depends. Mark, take it away.
Footloose, brought to you by the fine folks at Oops, I Crap My Pants. Yes!
Oh, man.
Mike, I was thinking if you could get some cheap Footloose figures, you might be able to cut that crotch in half and fix 2 beachheads with one Footloose figure. Yeah.
It's more of a sanding down process though. So, and look, you're entirely wrong. But anyways,
dude, that guy on the box of Depend, like, I hope
he's real happy.
He had to get paid a lot for that, right?
Right.
What's it worth to be that guy?
I respect that dude's willingness and happiness about picking up the check.
Yeah,
that's a professional, right?
That is right.
Yeah. You know what? If I was his age, if I was a male model his age, and I got the Depend contract, whatever the zeros were, I would have said done. But we got to stuff the front a little bit, right? So I'm looking that would be my lone pushback on the contract, right?
Maybe they could, kind of tint the color a little bit so you've got a nice bronze going.
Yeah. He looks so happy. I don't know if I've ever been that happy.
He looks positively thrilled as he picks out his wedgie. He really does.
Yep.
But that's why I went with him as opposed to the happy looking blokes on the other sizes. I was like, no, this guy, he's the happiest.
He's the winner.
He is the guy.
This only has 50% coverage though, because in the back, total thong.
Thong, yeah, total thong.
Oh no.
Super absorbent thong. That's how you know you got quality.
Depend undergarments works 50% of the time, every time.
Here we go. Jake Rose checking in with another banger. Happy like a kid in a pool.
Oh my god.
Yep. Wait, Jeff Butler will accept that challenge. Check him out. Jeff Butler.
He's sucking up to our other corporate friends. Crotch, bro.
In the crotch, bro.
He's sticking a crotch.
Oh my god.
So again, when your shit's a little too loose, call on Depends, the sponsor of this week's Mark Webber Bad Take.
There you go. He's even holding his M16 in front of it, right? So you can't tell.
So you can't judge. He will not be judged by you, Mark. He will not be judged by you.
I would say he's pear-shaped, but it's more like an upside-down pear with another pear on top of it. Yeah.
Next up, digital renders.
Yeah.
We got to see the beginnings of the Cobra Saw Viper and of Dial Tone. Real quick, Mark Webber, your reactions.
Saw Viper, strength, firepower, body armor, weaknesses, peripheral vision.
A little bit.
Come on now. How many times is he merging right into somebody on the freeway? Like that poor guy.
I mean,
That's the 405.
Yeah, right.
He's probably driving a Cobra Rage, so I don't think he cares.
I like that he comes with a walking stick, because he is getting older. So that's good.
That for the folks at home, that is the ammo belt, but sure.
Then he's not wearing it correctly, but okay.
Well, it's the digital render. They're not posed for action here.
He looks good. And for me, as a kid, always had a soft spot for Dial Tone, even though I had collected since the beginning. When we started getting doubles of characters, right? Like he was like, we get Dial Tone. I'm like, I already got a communications guy. What, we're gonna just kill off Breaker? Foreshadowing. But Dial Tone was from Oregon. First show from Oregon, Eugene. So, and that makes it weird that he's not wearing like neon green with silver and glossy black, but
I think for him. That comes later.
Fair enough. Oh, that's a good point, actually. But no, I think these two look tremendous. And as a kid and even as an adult, I always like the ones that look a little more realistic military. And other than that crazy blow my mind backpack, Dial Tone looks like he could be legit. So
right. I mean, that's pretty close to the one that they gave him back in '86 that didn't make any sense then either.
Yeah. I kind of like that because he's all buttoned up and then they just put this thing from Flash Gordon on his back. Okay.
Right. But my one take on these guys is Diana Davis echoes the sentiment there. They put a saw on the Saw Viper. That's interesting. Yeah, it's a little weird, but whatever. Fine. I don't know if it's permanent. I don't know if it's just stuck there. I think you can take it off if you want to.
Look, the roots of the Saw Viper was that he came with a gun that was the size of like a size 15 Air Jordan.
Right. It was scaled for 1/12. So you could take the gun from the original Saw Viper, put it with this guy, and it would fit.
Right. I remember looking at that as a kid and looking at his thumbs and just going, yeah, we're not doing that.
No. I have one Saw Viper in my collection. I have the gun for him, but I also gave him the accessory pack rock and roll machine gun, and that looks a bit better.
Yeah. And has that nice thin little handle.
Little handle. Rack Time Rob, real quick, your thoughts?
I like these. I'm not sure about the saw with the Saw Viper either, but
yeah, it's a little weird, but hey, again, it's a choice. Pixel Dan,
I had Saw Viper as a kid. He was one of the few that I had that actually,
Right.
we talked about it before, but like my neighborhood friend like gave me some Joes as a kid, and that was one of them. So
Wasn't
he's
Saw
one I have
Viper
a
your
connection.
guy?
No, he's not my guy, but he's one that I have a connection to. So when it popped up today, I was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. Except I don't know, man. I'm not really like, I think it looks fine, but I think the vintage one looks cooler. I don't know.
Right. There's enough of a difference that if you really liked the old Saw Viper, this one's going to be a bit jarring to you.
Yeah,
I actually,
it's like a little too
like
bulky or something, I think, in the upper body compared to what the original one looked like. I don't know.
And I get that. Like, if that character is special to you, this is a pretty different take. I like that it's a different take. I like it when Classified kind of gets away from the vintage stuff a little bit more. When they have a retro line, that's what taking on the originals is for. So I'm good with it. Like one of the complaints I had was that in the comic book back in the day, the Saw Viper was one of the biggest and baddest of them all. Like, he is a legendary villain in the G.I. Joe comics, and his figure was kind of thin and unassuming, and
he's a little scrawny, right? The original,
right.
Yeah.
At a time when those figures were getting bigger and bulkier, he wasn't.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that he's a little bigger and bulkier here.
Sure. No, that makes total sense. And of course, that's going to be one of those things where it's the difference between your connection to what your favorite version of the character is too, right? Yeah. Or even the brand in general. So that happens.
You know what I would do with this guy, man? If I had a hand on this brand, and I sure don't anymore, I would give him hash marks on the side of his backpack. Like, I don't remember how many he killed, if it was 7 or 8, but I'd have like the 4 with the cross and then 3 more. That'd be awesome. But what do I know?
I think it was 7.
There you go.
I think it was 7. And then there were 3 more that died in the explosion of the Cobra Rage. And then we found out that
no, it was 7 total with that.
Okay. All right.
There was 4 in the trench.
I'm putting too many
3
guys
more on the Rage.
What I know for a fact, though, is that the battle bunker carries a lot of corpses.
It sure does.
It carries a ton of corpses.
It is. A lot of people don't know it is an honorary battle force vehicle. What, too soon?
No, they didn't get the ride on the battle bunker.
No.
Or am I calling the wrong thing the battle bunker? I can't tell at this point.
No, it's the battle bunker. The mobile battle bunker. Yeah.
I just like that of them all, Dodger ended up with the most appropriate name, right? Because he's the only one that ducked that scythe when it swung. Whoa, what was that?
I think you're confusing the battle bunker with the future fortress, Mark.
I think the battle bunker, didn't it carry all the corpses of the battle force guys eventually?
Right, but the battle force guys died later.
Yeah, but they still took a ride on the battle bunker.
Probably off camera.
Whatever. They should have called it the Valkyrie. Yeah.
Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum,
the bone wagon.
Anyway. Excuse me. Next up, of course, we had finally the actual releases for today.
Hark.
They are all from the basic assortment. Pre-orders open today. They're $25 or so a piece. Available wherever toys are sold. They are expected anywhere. I've seen anything from fall to winter to the beginning of next year, which means probably, like October, November would be my guess. But yeah, wherever you get your toys, whether it be Hasbro Pulse or Big Bad or Walmart or Target, you can go get these right now. Mark, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I thought you said a bad word.
No, not at all. He means Target.
Son of a bitch.
Target.
I've got Target Tourette's. I hear it.
But first up is Alpine. He's got a good amount of gear there, but I like him a lot. I will say that he kind of misses that backpack. Like, this is a guy you'd expect to have all kinds of gear and stuff that he'd be hauling up the side of the mountain with him, and he doesn't have a way to carry that kind of stuff. But besides that, I really like this figure. Love the hat, love the goggles. Good face sculpt, full of expression. He looks like the guy from the cartoon that would be cracking wise at every opportunity. We'll go out of order. Rack Time Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he needs a little. I can understand him not wanting to, go up a mountain weighed down by a big backpack. But at the same time, I think he needs something to cart those rifles around on. But
right, he needs something. You can't just you need some kind of supplies and some way to carry those supplies. Because you don't exactly if you're the mountain climber, you don't exactly have supply lines leading to you, so you kind of need to be self-sufficient at least for the first trip up. Michael Gene Fleming says everyone needs to go back to the compendium, and by this winter they'll be able to read and see for themselves who died when and got carried by what.
That's right.
I'll just
Right
go
there,
check
Mark.
my trade paperbacks now.
He's calling you out, Mark Weber.
Yeah, you know what? I don't have to wait. I'll go check my single issues that I have bagged and boarded because I'm a real fan. Oh, and because I'm a high roller, baby, and I got that.
Shots
cash.
fired.
He's an old schooler, a Mike Ruler.
Hey, if you want to read them, just come on by and ring the bell.
What's your dog's name again?
Emma.
Emma will be happy to see you.
She'll let you know. Yeah, she's pretty happy. She thought you were here today, but you were a mailman.
And then she'll poop on the rug.
Yes, she will. We got rid of the rug because she pooped on it so much, and now she poops where the rug used to be.
Look,
which
there's
is such a Corleone move, right?
right in the dog world. The memorial poop is a sign of the highest respect.
Yeah.
Greg Augustin says that Alpine needs a sound effect button with has him yodel.
Right.
Oh my God.
Only when he gets the price.
Oh yeah.
Only when he gets the price wrong, and then he goes right up.
Greg asks, are his goggles clear plastic or open? I believe they are clear plastic. Good question, but I think they're clear plastic.
If they're open, it would turn him into a Dudley boy.
Right.
How it works.
Yes.
Yep.
I like it.
Alpine,
Get
get the tables.
So Pixel Dan, what do you think?
I like all the gear that it comes with them, but I also agree about like places to put all that stuff. It's always one of my nitpicks on action figures is when they come with cool accessories that I can't put anywhere. You know what I mean? And they're just like left laying over or anything like that. So I think that would be my thing with this too. Is like that's a lot of cool stuff, but he clearly can't hold all of it at the same time. So
well, kind of he can, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Supposedly there's a loop on the front of his belt so you can run the cord through. There's I like how it looks like he's wearing the climbing gear, like the what is that thing, like that's cool,
the carabiners.
Yeah.
Right. There's loops on the back belt for those hooks to get stored on when he's not using them. He's got two hands, so machine gun and grappling hook gun. Let's rock and roll. So I guess technically he could carry it all around, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. So there's an actual rope wrapped around that hook too, right? Like the grapple hook. It looks like there's an actual rope. Yeah, that's cool. And
cool detail that they did mention as well. His shirt is it's an Idaho themed state shirt. So he's from Idaho on his old file card. And so they made reference to that on his t-shirt.
So not Dudleyville. Okay.
No.
Well, I mean, Dudleyville could be in Idaho.
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay. That's it. Could be. Jeff Butler can't wait to get that Footloose figure made so he can climb extensive enterprises with Alpine. So, and Mark Weber, your last, we'll toss to you. Anything real quick on Alpine?
Just, I wonder if they had to make a choice between the secondary piece, rope, or a backpack, because it may go straight over where the backpack would have gone. Either way, would have been nice to have both. I do like that he kind of looks facially a little nerdy, because he was a finance clerk, right, as his secondary military occupation.
Yeah, an accountant.
So he's a mountain climbing accountant. That's kind of awesome. So
amazing.
I dig it. I think this is a. I mean, it's not a no doubt home run, but this is a real good thing.
And yeah, just needs a backpack. But past that, real good figure.
Michael Gene Fleming's got a really good point. Not to beat a dead horse.
I mean, I guess not to beat a dead horse, but now if they would only put file cards on the boxes so people would know he's from Idaho, I dare say that the higher ups, the suits at Hasbro are like, well, everybody we're trying to sell this to already knows he's from Idaho.
Yeah.
At which point you want to punch that guy in the face, but I promise you that's what they're thinking.
They're not trying to grow the brand, so I get it. If
No,
only there was somewhere you could go for newly written, fantastic file cards, right?
Right. Joe Fan 84 wants that Alpine. Michael Miller is stunned. Pixelated Dan.
Pixelated Daniel. That's me. That's my formal name.
Right. That's what it says on the license.
He's calling you. It must like the street lights must have come on. It must be time for dinner.
That's 2 now.
Pixelated Daniel.
Yeah. Pixelated. Time to come home. That's what my mother calls me. I would like to just quickly throw out the important note that all of the current Masters of the Universe figures not only have stories on the back of the packaging, but come with mini comics. Just saying that, just to say it, you know, just.
And so,
man,
I missed that about the superpowers.
He didn't know that was in the playbook, huh? Oh, look out!
How dare you? How dare you?
That's all we do on this show, Dan.
Right.
All we do, we dare.
I've always wanted to learn more about Mechanic, so this is my opportunity.
Mechanic,
from what I
His
understand,
neck
Mark
gets long. It's cool.
His neck is quite long.
Is that genetic, or what are we talking about here?
It's
like cybernetics, man.
When he gets really excited, Mark, and when there's a little wine and a little Sinatra involved, and Mrs. Mechanek's in the mood, then yeah, Mechanek's neck gets a little long.
What is this show? How'd I get here?
We're still working on it. He just got rid of himself. I'm in charge, baby. And that's all the time we have. We want to thank our guest, Pixel Dan. Oh. Man.
Also on the Joe side, we got Storm Shadow, and that is his version 2 getup. So yeah, he's on the Joe side. He comes with all kinds of cool stuff. He's got his swords. He's got 2 claws like Nunchuck has, which are those are cool accessories. He's got a not red backpack, so I'm on board. That's a clear upgrade from his time at 3 3/4.
Yep.
Someone will be bitching though.
I'm sure they will. And he's got that cool compound bow, and he's got a couple extra hands for his karate chopping exercises. Storm Shadow looks. There's been complaints about this guy, and I can understand if you don't like how that hood sits on him. But he's a ninja, man. He's the G.I. Joe version of a goth kid. He's gonna have his hood pulled down pretty low. I like this Storm Shadow. And speaking as somebody who I really liked the original Storm Shadow they did, I do have absolutely no care for the Arctic version of Storm Shadow they did at the beginning of Classified, to the point where I didn't even buy it. But I dig this guy. Storm Shadow as a Joe was the most important representation that we had left to give at this point in Classified. Like, most of the real important characters have come and gone, but Storm Shadow as a Joe is a big hole, and I think this is a good way to fill that. Pixel Dan, we'll start with you this time. What do you like about Storm Shadow?
He's a ninja, so I do like that. I've always liked this costume for Storm Shadow.
He can fight. What is it, Ninjor? Is that the guy's name?
Yes, Ninjor.
Because all you need to do is take what he is and put an OR on the end, and you've got
basically that's how you name He-Man characters. Yes, exactly.
Except
Fisto.
Yeah, I know, right?
We don't talk about Fisto.
We don't talk about Fisto.
No.
I think that there was a song like that or something. I think.
Right.
Okay, so I like this costume a lot, and I actually kind of like the hood on this. You know what I don't think I like is the belt. I don't know. Something about the belt feels bulky or something.
it feels a little big, but ninjas carry all kinds of cool stuff. So,
And that's true. That's true.
he's got
I don't know,
claws and throwing stars and beef jerky.
I like the claws. I think the claws are awesome. Yeah,
You
I
don't
like
the
them.
beef jerky?
Oh wait, there's beef jerky.
Well, yeah. Why,
It's not
why else do you
included
have
in the accessory shot there.
because
I don't
they're
see-
in his pockets.
Oh,
It's in his
that's
pockets.
amazing. Then this is the best figure they've done so far.
Mark Weber.
I get that it's authentic, kind of. But man, when you put those two swords on the same side, he's going to look weird, right? Like he's going to walk with a limp eventually, all that weight on that right hip. But that's a small dig.
I mean, on the other side is the pouch with his deluxe bag of beef jerky, though.
It's probably true. Now I know Rob loves the Liefeldian pouch thing we got going on here. But any bit on this is kind of a nitpick. It's a really good figure, and you are dead on, Mike. One of the worst design decisions ever on the Joe line was to take this. Really, I mean, following up on the original Storm Shadow was a tall order, right? And this one was badass and different enough because he swapped sides while still being awesome. And then they went, let's make that backpack fire engine red.
And the sword.
Right.
And the sword.
And
right?
the sword, yeah.
Yeah, the sword. Yeah.
Yeah. Rough. So I like that they weren't slavish to the original design, because that would have looked even worse at a 6-inch scale, right? So this is a really good thing.
Cheapest
Yeah,
big
I'm
spender
seeing-
wonders.
Yes.
Who does
what
he
I was-
think he is? Batman with that big belt.
Right.
I was just getting ready to say, I'm noticing a lot of comments in the chat calling it like a Batman utility belt,
Yeah.
and that's
Hey,
totally
man.
the vibes I'm getting. That's totally
Rack
the
Time
vibes
Rob,
I'm
you're our senior Batman correspondent. So speak to that, would you?
I mean, let's face it, that's Adam West all the way. So this figure
Oh.
a home run.
It could be Adam West under there. Rob, where does Batman keep the shark repellent on the belt?
The shark repellent spray.
It's got to be around the back. You don't need it that often, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just would have figured it was in the glove box of the Batboat, frankly.
Well, and you don't want it next to the beef jerky, right? Because
No.
you might be in a hurry.
We don't want to accidentally spray the beef jerky.
Look, if it's an Adam West belt, everything's clearly labeled anyway. So
That's
you know.
right. Right. You don't have to think real hard. He keeps it nice and clear.
You just got to keep the shark repellent on one hip and the silly string on the other. Because you
Correct.
don't want to mix that up, right? Oh God, I'm in a hurry.
Look, maybe you want to entertain the shark for a minute.
I suppose.
Anyhow. Jake Rose notes that some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. I know, Joke. We've been doing this. We've been doing this show for 13 years. We very rarely dump bombs easily.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for pre-order today, the Iron Grenadier. I felt it was very interesting that they took a club design on the Iron Grenadier as opposed to this guy from 1988. But I dig it. I actually like it quite a bit, because while I love the Iron Grenadiers as a concept and as a third party in the G.I. Joe war, by all, to simplify things, they didn't age well. Their designs did not age particularly well from Destro on down. So the fact that we're getting something that's a little bit more contemporary looking in regards to the uniform, I think is a positive step. Dan, what do you think?
I like him a lot. I think he's very cool looking. And like, I always liked the original Iron Grenadiers too. They're very cool looking, but these are my type. Like the bad guys are always like the coolest looking ones to me anyway. But the colors and everything on this are so striking and cool. I love just like the little bits of red. The red on the face mask is awesome. Right. And then just that pinstriping red kind of down the jacket with the little bits of gold. I don't know. I think he looks slick. He's very cool looking.
Yeah, I think this is the winner of the basic assortment. Mark Weber.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Dude, I loved Iron Grenadiers. Always did. And I know there is some flack online about the gray pants, right? But it's really good for a color break, right?
Yeah.
And if this was all black, it would. McFarlane used to say this when he was picking out NFL uniforms for his sports pick figures. He hated the same color top and bottom, right? So he would hardly
Right.
ever do all white or all like the Color Rush stuff, the all black or all orange. Always said it looks like pajamas, and I think he's right. So the gray pants, I think, absolutely work here. The one thing that gives me pause, and we don't have a good look at it, is I wish it was more of a waistcoat that he was wearing, because it looks like it tapers way up behind his legs, right? Almost like it's a tuxedo with tails.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't know. Now, maybe if it came all the way down, it would be crazy restrictive for movement and posing.
Yeah,
So that's possible, but
That's got to be the reason.
and
I would think if
or
you're
to
like in
save
this
money.
pose, like where this guy's crouching down, you'd have to worry about tripping on it or something. Yeah, so.
But is it gonna look weird in hand? I don't know. That is my lone concern, because I think this is a representation of one of my favorite figures, and I love how it came out.
that's actually why I put that action picture here, so that where you see him climbing out of the foxhole there, because I think that kind of shows off how it's going to look when you're posing this guy in something besides a standing still parade formation. Ragtime Rob, what do you think?
When I first saw this picture yesterday, I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of different, but it grew on me quite a bit between now and then. So
Yeah, I really like the removable helmet. I think that's a nice touch.
Yeah, because you can put it on Mindbender and have him be like drunk Mindbender at the Christmas party. Hey, I'm an Iron Grenadier.
he's gonna look like Colonel Clink.
And then closing out the basic assortment today is an Iron Grenadier bat. And you can argue the functionality of this. This is something that I don't think Destro would ever do to his IGs, because he seems to value their lives more than Cobra Commander does his forces. But I can't deny that it looks pretty cool. And they're going to get every possible cent that they can out of that bat mold. It will be like that bat mold will be populating the toy aisles long after I am dead and gone. And I don't plan on dying anytime soon.
Yeah, bring on the one with the neon orange and green. Bring them on.
Ragtime Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, it looks really cool. I didn't order any of these guys. I'm kind of like, what use would Destro have? I think Destro is perfectly content to sell Cobra Commander as many bats as he wants, but I don't think he has any use for these clanking random murder machines.
Mark Weber.
I mean, it looks cool. I like the color and the design of it, but to me, the bat was always a Cobra thing and not necessarily a Mars thing. And so I do the repaints and get as many as you can, but I'm more with Dan here, right? I would rather them do a version, release a classic repaint than come up with something new that it looks cool, but it doesn't really make sense. So normally with a troop builder, I'm in for 3 always. And this is one of the few where I'm like, I'll get one, right? I mean, they still got my money,
right?
But I don't need a bunch of these guys because they're weird.
I've been that way with most of the bats too. I got a couple of the Arctic ones, but for the most part, I just get one on the bat repaints. But the only sense it makes is they're releasing the Iron Grenadier Trooper at the same time. So I respect that there's at least an attempt to be thematic about the villains in this particular grouping. Dan, what do you think?
How good does that gold look on there, though?
I know.
Yeah.
It really does look good.
So cool. It's like shiny, and I love the translucent piece over the front too. Like, the panel on the front, they got the little translucent piece over that, which is very cool, because I don't know, I feel like that's an important part to at least see the exposed stuff, the wires and everything. But yeah, that gold, I don't know, the gold and the black and the red are just, it's a cool color combo. And if the production figure just looks as good and shiny as the gold does in these pictures, I mean, it's going to be a cool looking toy, that's for sure.
Quick straw poll. Now they've done that Revanche style bat head for a couple of the re-releases now. This is the first one it looks better than the actual bat head. True or false?
I think it's the gold that makes it look that good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like
know.
it. I think it looks awesome.
I think you're absolutely right. That's
Because
the
it
whole
works with the arms and everything. So you've just got
No.
more of that kind of gold color and everything. I don't know.
Not
I
only
like
that, it helps to differentiate it from being a Cobra bat. So
Yeah, I like it. I was trying to put my thumb on it, and it's because it looks like Starman from NES Pro Wrestling. You just know this guy's doing the double cross chop that cannot be stopped. Oh,
It does look like he's got the star on.
Starman, yeah.
Starman.
Who was like?
Well, we
10
need a hot
times-
pink version of this guy now,
That's
right?
right.
Then you were like,
And- Dude, Starman was 10 times better than everyone else in that game.
even
Except,
Amazon.
yeah, dude. But the most boring guy, Fighter Hayabusa, had the back brain kick. And when he hit the guy, even if he didn't have hair, all of a sudden he had hair that freaked out.
Yeah.
And then he would fall to his knees and on his face. And we would play that game till like 4 a.m. And whenever Pete Fleming would only be Fighter Hayabusa. And whenever Pete got you with the hit, he would just go crush, crumble. And at 4 a.m. with your hair all freaked out on the Nintendo, that was some of the best laughs ever. So for the Starman homage, probably unintended, salute.
I like it.
Patrick Stewart notes that his Arctic Pat still hasn't shipped.
where did he get them from?
Yeah, who'd you order that from, Pat?
He ordered it obviously from Hiya Toys. Yeah.
I wanted to call attention to Pat because Pat's turn on articulated points this week is all about G.I. Joe Street Fighter. It is a super deep dive. It is fantastic.
Loved that video. Just saying. It was so good. It was so good.
If you are not subscribed to articulated points, and I said this last week, you are not the toy geek that you think you are. These guys do great work. Time in, time out. You need to. It's not just because we're friends with Phil and with Pat. It's not the reason why. I've known Patrick Stewart for going on 15 years now. Class A individual, has nothing to do with the work he does. The work he does is fantastic, and you have a great chance to go catch that this week. Go watch when we're done, which may be another hour from now. I don't know. We're trying.
And then do the doll theme dance.
The doll theme dance.
I love the doll theme dance. I broke that out in public once, and my kids thought I had actually broken. Right? Like, oh
man,
boy, we're gonna have to take them to the rubber room.
They were not wrong.
No, they weren't.
We also had some retro assortment pre-orders open up today. These are also available wherever you get your toys. They also retail at about $25. We shamelessly stole picks from Surveillance Sport and HisTank.com for this part because obviously they don't open on pre-orders till June 11, so I couldn't get them from Hasbro Pulse. So again, when you care enough to steal from the very best, SurveillancePort.com, now with hyphen.
Yep.
Anyways, these are expected also around the same time, fall, winter 2024, maybe early 2025. Maybe if you're Pat's Arctic Bat, sometime in 2027. I got nothing past that.
I like how they posed the Cobra Trooper to hide that really embarrassing knife placement.
Anyhow.
That embarrassing knife placement isn't on that figure.
It isn't? It looks like it.
No.
No. We'll see it.
Oh,
we'll
I
see
take it back. I take it back.
We'll see it coming up. So anyways, there's Cobra Commander, and that is a redo of the one that came with the Hiss tank, only it's got the correct Cobra symbol on it, and it's got a vac metal face shield.
Yes.
He looks like
All
he
about
walked
that
off.
chrome.
He looks like he walked off the screen of the Sunbow cartoon. That figure is outstanding. That is what the retro line should be. That is right in step with Duke and Scarlet and Rakondo from the previous wave, and not so much the Beachhead, Snow Serpent, and Eel from the current wave. But anyways, Cobra. Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
The only disappointing thing about this Cobra Commander figure was that I couldn't pre-order him today.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
We have to wait a damned week. That's uncalled for. That's like Pat's Arctic Bat.
Does he have a stripe on both legs?
I think so.
He shouldn't. Just saying.
Ooh.
I don't know actually.
Just saying. It ain't that hard.
We'll have to check. Mark. We'll have I'll give you that one because again, I'll fight with you on the mainline classified stuff, but the retro stuff should be retro. If you're gonna pump up your chest and say, "Hey, we're doing 6-inch versions of the toys you had as a kid," you need to get it right and at 100% or at least close. So I get you there.
So what color is Stalker's beret?
Should be green. It is not. It is camouflage.
Be all green, right?
Yeah.
It should.
Ain't that hard? Ain't that hard, right? Ain't that hard?
Nope. Agree with you there. It's the one thing wrong with this figure. I don't mind extra gear, but they gave him all the right gear, and that camo does look pretty good. But it doesn't belong on the beret. Again, it's you're making it hard on yourself. It's just supposed to be green.
He's one of the camo berets, right? Those world famous camo berets. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the silver lining is if you have the original Stalker, you've got a green beret you can put on this guy.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have to fix their toys.
Right. Right.
But then again, we've been getting curly barrels for 5 years now. So
Pat checking in, the 82 card art had a camo beret. I understand, Pat. But
cool.
The 82 figure did not.
So do you want it to match the art or the figure?
Yeah.
Guess that's an important distinction, right? Like, what are they basing it on? The toy or toy colors or art colors?
I guess
those are different things sometimes.
I get you. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Torpedo 83's starting to fight here, and I want to finish it.
We're already long, Mark. Come on now.
Right?
We're already going long.
Maybe it was supposed to have 2 stripes.
Let it go. Let it go.
I'd have to look at more pictures and see.
Right. I honestly didn't look. I can't answer the question for you. We can discuss it more next week, but we got to keep this thing rolling forward.
I will not be silenced.
Can I just say that the chrome on Cobra Commander's faceplate really makes me want a chromed headed Destro now in this line.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Scarlet.
I need it. I need it.
Scarlet is right-handed because of her friggin' crossbow. Just saying. Unless she's so good, she shoots with the sight on the off side of her eye.
She just holds up a mirror.
Right? I've heard that.
Holds it up and does it circus style.
Yeah. I will have the Scarlet right-handed fight with anybody out there who's wrong. So let's go.
Greg Augusta notes that his grunt was left-handed when I broke his right thumb.
That's it. You break, and if you break both, you're shooting the flak or you're driving the vamp, baby. That's how it works.
Right.
Or no, the
I
ram.
have to say,
the ram, because you can hide both hands completely.
Yeah.
You drive the motorcycle, no thumbs.
Mark, I have to say my Scarlet was a lefty because it held the crossbow so much better than the right on mine.
Right.
Hey, if you want to say she's such a badass, she doesn't use the sight. Okay, I'll give you that one.
That's really the only argument I have for you on that one, Mark. I've made it before. I don't want to bog us down in another discussion about Scarlet being right-handed.
Next Scarlet handedness item.
Because the next time that happens, like I have to do a 50th argument graphic, and I don't want to do more graphics. I'm not good at those, Mark. I'm really bad at making the graphics.
Fair enough.
But
crossbows can't be left-handed. We are missing the point, but that's okay. We'll move on.
When I broke both of the thumbs on Zap, he just fired with his feet, and that never broke. So,
yeah, Zap broke both his thumbs, and then Rock and Roll, still firing his machine gun with thumbs intact, was like, see? Thin handle.
Right, but so again, the past appearances of Stalker's camouflage beret notwithstanding, that 82 figure, that 83 figure had a green beret, and he is a green beret, so it just feels inauthentic.
It is.
It's I mean, it takes it from an A to an A minus, but it's a little thing. It's a little thing, but it's not enough. That's not going to get me to buy that Stalker. Stalker's was my very first GI Joe. I'm gonna buy one of them and keep it on the card as well as one to open. But that's it's a little thing, but it's a little thing that sticks out to me.
Yeah, it's either a bad decision or it's an oversight and sloppy.
But
Jesus.
oh, now we're going to continue to split hairs in live chat. But moving forward is the Cobra Trooper. And I took the wrong photo. I apologize, Mark. We can't check the web gear for the Cobra Trooper. I believe is the same as they're doing for like the original 13 guys.
Yeah, it fits really well.
Right. So if there's a criticism of maybe overusing the part, I get it, but that knife isn't there anymore.
Okay, good. I hate
The
it.
knife. The knife.
Yeah,
is
the
on
knife
his
is not up by the thing because that was on the
Hated
vest,
that.
and he doesn't have that. So you're good.
Okay, good. Jesus, now people are Pat Tillmaning me. Give me 8 seconds here, Mike. The
Okay.
original Stalker figure had an all green beret. So in your retro figure line, he should have an all green beret. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Any other argument you want to make is completely friggin' moot.
Right. The
I don't
toys.
care what he wore in the comic. I don't care that you're arguing Green Beret versus Ranger versus Starship Trooper. He should have a dark green beret.
Right. And there too, to the like the most popular version of Stalker in pop culture was probably the Sunbow cartoon. Green Beret.
It doesn't mean that he was a Green Beret. It's just that his beret was green.
Right.
I think that's what people are getting caught up on.
I don't even have recall of it. Did they just make him a Green Beret later? I don't know. I thought he was
so.
qualified for that. I don't know. But I'm not. I leave that sort of thing to Mr. G.I. Joe Trivia, Patrick Stewart, who you should subscribe to on Articulated Points.
Ooh, brought it back around. I like
Nope.
it.
King of the Segway. I think Phil's feelings are going to be hurt that we haven't talked about him as the other half of Articulated Points. So I'll just make a quick mention of that too.
Piper Scout wins it. Jabber's beret was red.
Jammer's beret was red.
Hey, maybe we could take that beachhead beret from the first figure.
There you go.
Good idea.
Just get a nice water slide Z-Force thing for his. Yeah, there we go. That's almost a lazy bastard custom, Mark.
Right? I could probably make that happen.
If you can do water slides are not paint. So
I can't tell if Cheapest Big Spender is pulling my chain or actually wants to go to war. But either way. either way, I respect it, actually.
Right. Cheapest big spender with that attitude. No wonder why Mark got fired.
Dang.
Seems legit.
Ooh.
Seems
Look,
legit.
We've taken more shots at Dan that
Just
bad
got real
today,
in
so-
here.
Yeah.
So
I'll
that's
take some.
okay. That's a good one. That's
I'll
not
take
bad.
The air
That guy-
conditioning came on in our full force here. Ooh.
That guy's here every week, man. I have a feeling
Yeah.
that we couldn't get rid of him if we tried.
Right.
It's anyhow. Moving forward, there's hey, go back. There's info on that slide. There were exclusives and for pre-order opening on June 18th. These, as far as I know, I've the only listings I've seen said the same thing: fall, winter 2024. And you can see some of the offending parties there. That's the Mad Marauders contingent that is coming your way in 2 weeks. Torpedo Mike says Phil is enjoying a day at Disney. Be nice to him. No, he was here a little bit ago.
Yeah.
So he's ditched us, Mike. That's what it is. He's ditched us.
He was just checking us out while he was online at Space Mountain.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe. But as Jeff Butler notes, Mad Marauders Barbecue must have taken the photo.
That's right.
He's finally not going to be lonely anymore, Mark. What are you going to do?
Through his visor, though, because we all know he doesn't have a real human head.
He has no human head. No, he has
Yeah.
only robot parts.
Yep. Which is why he killed those kids in the Fensler film.
I think so.
Mhm.
I think so.
Whoa.
But
Derek Holloman hits this 100% on the nose.
this sub team is a pass to save you money. Yeah, I kind of got that feel too. But we'll talk about that coming up here. First up, that Hasbro classified Mad Marauders 2-pack of Lowlight and Spirit. It got leaked a couple of weeks back, and there still aren't a whole lot of photos of it there, but I took the coolest one that they gave us. Retail price is to be determined. Haven't seen that anywhere. I imagine it's in that $55 range, as most of the 2-packs and super deluxe figures have been. That is, again, opening June 18th. That is a Pulse exclusive. So Hasbro Pulse is the only place you're going to be able to find these guys. Mark, are you in on this for the super rare bird?
Well, not so much. I know they want to give me the bird, but I'm in on this because I actually like the Spirit. I think my problem with Mad Marauders quite a bit is the blue, but it kind of works on Spirit, and it's a departure from his classic look, which is a good thing. Not that I didn't like his classic look, right? But it's different enough and close enough to a Night Force Spirit that, yeah, I'm in. And I happen to know a former co-hostess with the co-mostess who would probably smile if she just happened to get a neon colored low light in the mail. So I think I can find a good home for the other half. And Spirit and the bird can stay. So, okay.
There you go. That sounds like a win right there, Mark.
They're getting my money. So, all right.
You know, and I don't know if you ever got the co-hostess with the co-mostess a baby shower gift. So maybe that can be a baby shower gift for mom right there.
Let me tell you, without getting too far up into the business, when that baby was only a couple months old, I had a trip to Greece. So I was shopping at the Acropolis for a little baby habanero. So she was well taken care of, let me tell you. Maybe I missed the shower, but it was all well planned. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. At the Acropolis for tiny little Greek baby.
That's
Mango
it.
habanero. Ragtime Rob, what do you think?
I think I'm passing.
All right, Pixel Dan.
I'm just gonna ask a question, and you can tell me if I'm dumb or not. Why
You're dumb.
is the reason they're not the Slaughters Marauders like a trademark thing?
It must have been. I don't think we've ever gotten an explanation on it, but it's
got to be something like that, right? Maybe it was something where like Slaughters got some sort of trademark to that name being used for toy stuff, and they didn't want that, or something like that. Is my guess.
Maybe.
Or in case when when their deal with him runs out, they can still use these. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I think that's the case.
That's probably it, right? That's got to be it. I was just curious. I saw that online earlier, and I was like, "Huh, I wonder why they changed the name." But
right, like it's
toy stuff, trademark stuff. It's always weird. Always weird.
When Slaughter was telling the story of the first figure that they put out for him in Classified, he said it was a handshake deal with him and Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon was still running WWE at the time, owned the trademark. But so long as he went and Slaughter went and talked to him about it in advance, he was generally pretty good about letting him assign it to these other projects. So maybe that was part of it. Maybe because, again, Vince is no longer in WWE, but you know, that just means that RKO now owns those trademarks as its
TKO
intellectual property. So I'm sure it's more complicated and yeah, probably a heck of a lot more expensive after this one. Because again, if this figure's coming out now, they started planning for it a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Right.
So they probably acquired it then. Like my guess is this is the last Slaughter we're going to see for a long time from Hasbro.
It's always interesting to see how that stuff works, right? Because clearly, you know, with Mattel having the WWE license, it's interesting how like they let stuff like this.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's always really intriguing to me when I see stuff like this happen.
Yeah.
Sergeant Slaughter's in a bunch of different toy lines.
Yeah.
Greg,
I know,
Greg
right?
Justin,
He's everywhere. I have so many Slaughters from so many toy lines. It's awesome.
I thought it was because Vala had Slaughter at the time. I mean, not at the time of the first one. Those figures were out simultaneously for a good long while.
Oh yeah.
But there too, it was one handshake deal for Valaverse, another handshake deal for Hasbro to come back again. I don't think Slaughter cares about exclusivity because he's getting paid on both.
I was gonna say, good
So-
for Slaughter, man.
Yeah.
Getting all these action figures. That's so cool. Good for him.
Yeah, at 70 something years old, that's a good living right there.
That's
Pretty
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
Pretty good, final quarter of your career for the Rocky
Right.
sympathizer. I mean,
I think that was the repayment for him walking out on them back in the 80s for wanting to do the deal the first time.
I think it was.
It's like he's too popular not to use.
Yeah.
We got to bring him back, but because you're Vince McMahon, you're a petty man, and so we're going to turn you against everything the fans love you for,
Well, and I think the cherry on it was though, we'll make you champ, right?
and then make you champ
He's
with it.
never been a world champion before, so
Right. Well, again, he was too popular not to.
Yep.
Like if he was going to come back, you had to at least get him in the title picture because he was
Right.
he was the second biggest name in the business after Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I don't think that's overstating it.
Mm-mm.
At
That was
particular moment.
guaranteed main events with Hulk Hogan. I mean, that's money.
Yeah.
There's money there. These guys were smart. They knew. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
so-
remember as a kid, as a young fan, he came back and he wasn't in the best of shape, and Hogan was a world beater, and Savage was great, and we had Warrior, who was a big deal at the time, and I just it didn't feel to me as a kid like he belonged with those guys.
Right.
But as an adult, when I go back and watch his matches, god damn, he could work. Oh
Right,
man,
right.
Yes.
a
Yes,
phenomenal
absolutely.
talent. Absolutely.
Yeah. In his day, he was one of the best. Even late in his career like that, he still knew how to work a match.
Yeah.
Like he still knew how to pace things out. They paired him up with his little cadre of evildoers there. He had the Sheik helping him out, and it's like other guys who knew how to work a match. So it worked. Like it wasn't the greatest wrestling we'll ever see. WrestleMania 7 was a bit of a cluster, but it wasn't the worst program you're ever going to watch.
But even as a kid, I was like, wait a minute, he hated the Sheik.
Yeah.
And the Sheik is legit from Iran, right? What's he doing on the Iraqi team?
That
Come
wasn't
on.
the Sheik. That was Colonel Mustafa.
Anything can happen in wrestling.
Yeah, I guess.
Toy
Doesn't even
Bounty
have
Hunter
to make
notes-
sense.
Toy Bounty Hunter notes that it's nice to be able to store his accessories in his duffel bag, but imagine the nightmare when the Joes look in his bag. Jesus, Sarge, why are there a bunch of severed hands in your bag?
And 180 pounds of barbell.
Right. Why don't we just roll into to Sergeant Slaughter? Sarge will also be available on June 18th. He is an Amazon and fan retailer exclusive.
He's awesome.
They did say he was going to be deluxe. He is $34.99, give or take. So yeah, but while I am also not in on the 2-pack, I think I'm in on Sarge the second time.
I'm
I
for
just
sure in on Sarge.
yeah, he's got the boxing gloves and he's got the weights and he's got a little mini action figure as well, like the first one did. They did a Mad Marauders Sergeant Slaughter that comes on a little card. So just fun stuff. He's got his itty bitty ditty bag. It's on his back there. That's a cloth goods bag. It looks awesome. Just looks like they
With
put
a
in the work there.
drawstring, yeah, it's
Cloth goods on a Slaughter figure? Revolutionary.
Right. Truly. Anyhow, but one of the true icons of G.I. Joe. The more times we see Sergeant Slaughter, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah.
I think I'm in on Sarge again.
Agreed.
I kid. This is a pretty good fig. If I just wasn't, I've always been kind of down on the Slaughter's Marauders. So
Sarge in his fluorescent blue T-shirt, just for some reason, it doesn't
Yes.
bother me as much.
he looks
Like
like
it's one of those,
he looks like he's on a diving team.
right? But like Lenny said on the live stream today, the lasers just go around him, so it doesn't matter. He can wear blue. Nobody's going to hit him with anything.
The lasers come right at him, and then they see that brutal chest cut. They're like, "Oh my god, run away!"
Or they just go in and try to heal the crevasse.
Right? Maybe they can like a blowtorch, right? Just melt
gotta
it
weld
all
it
back
shut.
together. Yeah.
They are blue lasers after all.
Mm.
Anyhow, the nitpick here, of course, is he still comes with that AK looking gun. That's not cool, but whatever. It's Sergeant Slaughter. I'm not going to ever have him with a gun anyway.
I imagine he just took that gun after beating down a Cobra Trooper.
if there was ever a guy that needed the snow job rifle besides snow job, it's Sergeant Slaughter. Because that was, if you're going to make the cartoon demigod, at least give him the right weapon. Anyhow. And then moving forward from there, the Cobra Stinger with the Stinger driver. That is also an Amazon and fan channel release. They didn't give us a price. I'm going to guess it's going to be in the neighborhood of the Vamp, maybe a little more. Because there's a lot more in the way of blast effects and stuff. So probably just tipping over that $100
But it might be
mark.
about the same because they save on the mold.
Right. But
Nah,
that's
no.
common sense stuff, Rob. But you don't take money off the table. Come on now.
I'm being optimistic.
No, and I'm not slamming Hasbro either. If I'm putting this out, this is costing more, with the blast effects, with the doors, with the better weapon on the back. The one thing though, and it's the one bit I come back to on this Vamp, man, the nub that the cannon goes on in the back is so tiny that with any use at all, your gun is falling off the back. So that's my main frustration on what is a very, very good vehicle.
Right. It's even got that they included a little foot peg stand on the back bumper that you can pack on there.
In case you want to stand behind the missiles.
So you can stand behind the missiles and get fried.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was there on the vintage toy. So
Yes,
I at least appreciate the nod, right?
Yes, it was.
It doesn't have to be. You can take it off, so it doesn't have to be there. But yeah, the blast effects and the missiles and the doors, they give the impression that you're getting more. So yeah, you bet they're going to charge more, or at least a little bit.
Yeah.
My guess is if the Vamp was 99, maybe they'll make this 109.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to be crazy about it. But
well, and it would have been a good designer or brand manager or both if what they got back was, because they had to have the roof and the doors, right? Otherwise, it's just a repainted Vamp.
Right.
So once they added the tooling for the new missiles and the stuff on the top, they must have got back a price quote that was above, I'm going to think a little bit above, maybe even well above where the Vamp was. And they may have said, okay, fine, but let's add some blast effects too to really show the value that we're charging for. There's nothing wrong with that.
But rack time, Rob, you're in for one.
Yeah.
Pixel Dan, you're gonna sit Skeletor on one of these or what?
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Here I come, He-Man. What are you gonna do about this?
Here's a good one for you.
Getting fried by missiles.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Hasbro. There you go. plus one in the sale column. You're welcome.
I'm so impressed with the amount of vehicles this line is getting. I remember for years people kind of talking about what if they did G.I. Joe in 6-inch, and I think one of the big arguments was no, because in 4-inch you can actually get vehicles, and vehicles are important to G.I. Joe, right? And then here they are, just like, man, just like there's so much stuff they've already done in the 6-inch line is kind of amazing.
It's not a huge library. They're going to reuse the ones they've got now, at least 2 more times over. But you know what? We don't seem to care as a fandom in that regard. So whatever.
I was going to say it's more than I ever expected to see.
Right?
I mean,
as it was the earlier, and I was seeing in the live chat, people were listing off the versions of the Vamp that they want to see next, and it was like a 10 long list as they just. More versions of the Vamp came to them, I guess.
Hop in, Beast Man. We're going to the mall.
We're getting smoothies.
I don't care that the blast effects are backwards, Beast Man.
Curse you, Orange Julius.
I love it.
Chipotle doesn't give me much chicken on my burrito.
I said double beans. Double beans.
He's not wrong.
Oh my God, we've turned into a Skeletor improvisation group.
Skeletor's true origin story.
Curse you, Pixel Dan. You've won after all.
Yes, that's how Skeletor has the skull face. It's just he stood back behind the missiles. And
he stood behind the missiles. Beastman, you boob! I wasn't ready for you to push the button.
Beastman is but pawn in Game of Life.
followed by some obnoxious fart noises that he makes with his mouth. Anyways, also from they talked about the video game, which I didn't. You can go watch the previews on that if you want more details as far as what specifically came up. Just go watch the Hasbro live stream. They also talked about Dane Plinkensmith's books, which we talked about when the Kickstarters were going on, so we won't cover a whole lot here. And then finally, they also did note that they do expect to release the San Diego exclusive as far as what it's going to be later this month, and that the Hasbro or G.I. Joe HasLab will be revealed at San Diego. And judging from the T-shirt of BMAC there on the video, he had the Rattler logo right there on his shirt. If it's not a Rattler, I will be, as the Southerners say, dipped.
How big is that thing going to be?
That's going to be massive. And furthermore, it's the thing that I remember when we were dealing with the aftermath of the Dragonfly. I think we specifically even talked about the Rattler as a potential next one. It's like, but how big is that going to be? Clearly, the HasLab people do not care. They are not interested in our concerns about space. I got a feeling that that's what's coming.
Mike, you got to move out. I need to make room for a whale.
Right. It's a shame we didn't get that Super 7 mothership, because the Rattler could have landed on it like a lily pad, right?
Oh, man.
It is VTOL, so it just pop right on there.
The mobile Rattler launch unit.
Right? They could have sent one of those O-ring Vipers out with a broom handle to try and knock it off. Anyways, sorry, the one project we don't show up for after I make a big point about us not missing on big projects.
Yeah,
but what can you do? But that was more or less it from the Hasbro Pulse Yojo June live stream. So Pixel Dan, if we're grading this out A to F middle school style, what are we saying, man? You didn't watch it, did you? You didn't watch,
no,
did you?
I didn't watch. I told you I was catching the live updates like on Twitter and stuff as they were happening, because I was going, oh no, I got to talk about all this tonight.
Man, oh man, a Chevette, Silent Bob. That's a disgrace. No, that's fine. We understand. You're the advocate for several other lesser fandoms. We understand.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Mark's loving it. Look, he's speechless.
All
He's
those
so
new
thrilled by that
subscribers
statement.
All those new
both of
subscribers
them.
I brought just unsubscribed.
Maybe if they subscribed, maybe they may not have. They may have just been here to watch. So we'll see. I'm going to jump over to my channel metrics right now to see what the story is.
Don't hurt yourself.
Right. The whole system may shut down.
This is where
this
is where you find out I'm worthless.
oh boy,
I'm
hot metrics action.
Pixel Dan is terrible. Look, I'm not going into the metrics. I'm just getting the subscriber count. Come on now. Come on. Let's go.
Can we play the Jeopardy music in 6-second
over.
increments?
Hey, everybody go hit that
It'd
button
be too much
right
to
now.
crash the computer.
Yeah.
You can undo it later. Just hit it right now so that
No, you can't undo it. It's forever.
Dude,
No undoing.
I just forgave Cheapest Big Spender for his Hasbro rip on me.
All right, so we're up to
He just won the whole night.
14-19. So you've been good for 3, Dan. We'll give you credit for 3.
Woo.
Terrible.
You're
Terrible.
welcome.
Right?
I guess. I suppose not to make those three feel bad or anything, but if you have a chance, maybe you could go down to that section where there, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, do all those cool YouTube things, share us in all your various social media circles, and of course leave a big person comment down in below the description there. And if you haven't done that for Pixel Dan, if you have no idea who he is, there's a link to his channel there too.
Do that.
Hey.
By all means, subscribe to that. You'll get very little G.I. Joe content.
I talk about He-Man a whole lot, so I hope you're ready for that.
He does. But we are in the middle of your Joe-Naissance, so
That's true. That's true. I have actually been doing some Joe
There's a lot of neon pink cards he's trying to track down.
Man, I'm
That's
telling
true.
you, if his channel gets more new subscribers than ours does tonight, we're totally canceling the check. right? No appearance fee.
No,
Right.
That's
No
not
hot
how it
dogs.
was supposed to work.
No hot dogs
No.
for you at JoeFest. You're out.
dang it, man.
We're gonna give our hot
I
dogs.
really
to
need a
Larson.
meal.
We're gonna give all the hot dogs to Dan Larson. You will get no hot dogs.
And we were going to bring
Dan
Nathan.
Larson again.
Curse you, Dan Larson.
Curse you, Larson.
Watch this be the one night he watched, right?
Yeah, he actually.
Cursing me, are they?
I don't know.
Screw
If
that
this,
noise. We're not
I don't know.
associating with them.
I don't know if this is going to his head, but I just got a text from him, and he said that Pixel Dan must refer to him as He Dan from now on.
Oh, is that so?
Oh,
He
goodness.
said something about having the power. I don't know.
Whatever code
That
those
sounds
two
just
use
like
between-
him.
Whatever code those two use between themselves is really none of our business.
He Dan.
We are an accepting
Dan.
podcast.
Okay.
It's okay. I'm too busy being.
no aspersions.
I'm too busy being Zardan right now. I can't be he.
Oh, that's pretty.
Right.
You stepped up, my friend.
Zardan.
Ninja Force Sardan,
Ninja Force
Right.
Zardan. Yeah.
which is better than being Dandar, because that's.
Dandar.
Oh my god. Or what? I can't think of a Dan-based pun on Scare Glow. So whatever. We'll move on.
We'll workshop it.
Right. Well,
There you go.
it needs a focus group, and we don't have time for that sort of thing. We're ready at about 2.5 hours. We got to pull this one into the station. Pixel Dan, you're the guest tonight. Why don't you're first up on shout outs. You want to shout out tonight?
Well, JoeFest obviously is going to be the next place I'm going to be, and I'm going to be there with all these folks. So if any of you guys are coming to JoeFest, I'll be there. I have a table there. I'm going to have copies of my book. Look, I even have it sitting here. I can even show it.
Look at that.
Hey,
Hey,
Toys of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I promise it's a
that's
cool
a thick book.
It's huge. It's over 750 pages.
Whoa.
Dark Horse told me it was almost too big to bind in a hardback. They were like, it's almost too big.
That's
But
the
yeah,
feedback you want, though. That's
I know,
that's what you
right?
wanna
It's
hear.
I'm glad we, but it covers everything from 1982 through 2019. So the original line all the way through the end of Masters of the Universe classics. So it's all in there, all figures, vehicles, play sets, everything is in the book. So if you want to check it out, you can come see it in person at my table at the show. Maybe pick one up if it's something that you think you might like. And I'll also be there with some other swag. I will have my my Ninja Force Zartan inspired shirts there. It's like the skull. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like the skull logo with like the
It's in the
orange
thumbnail,
mohawk. And yeah. So that I'll have those shirts there for sale too. So if you want something a little Ninja Force themed, I'll have those at the show. So
There you go. He's like Jay Sherman, Rob. He's just buy my book.
buy my book. That's about it. And then the whole time.
That had a Matthew Lesko vibe to it, right? Do you have a,
Right.
Do you have a suit with a bunch of question marks on it?
And then I believe Friday night at the opening of the show, I believe he is going best of 3 falls with Dan Larson in the booth.
I
be
guess
sure
so.
to
I think that's happening
check
now.
that out.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Check that out. Winner gets all the hot dogs.
Dan Larson, I'm coming for you.
It's a Dan
That
off.
Gets all the hot dogs.
That's
It's a Dan
the best.
off.
You're a 20-year professional wrestler, and that is the best promo you can give us on drop of the
Hold
hat.
on.
Come on.
I gotta say.
Come on, Spencer Powers. Come on.
Oh my God! Why are you putting me on the spot like this? Jeez.
Oh,
I'll have my action figures for sale. How about that? Come buy my action figures too.
I've come to expect a certain level of professionalism from the YouTube community, Dan. Wait, no, I haven't
Professional.
done
That's
that at
what
all.
professional
That's no.
Danny. That's me.
Yeah, that's not true. I apologize for the lie. If anything, they continue to impress me as to how low they can go. Oh Jesus! So who else we shouting out, Dan? Now that we've gotten one out of the way.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Go check out Dan Larson, I guess, since we talked about him a whole bunch. Secret
That's what we're
Galaxy.
here for. We bring
He
people
and I
together.
Yeah, he and I are both going to be at Sergeant Red's Toys and Collectibles on July 14th, so you can come see both of us. And
we can announce him as former guest of the show. So that is
former guest of the show. He's also going to be at JoeFest, so
yes,
he's going to be tagging along with
yeah,
me.
They know he was on. Things, so he was a big enough deal to get on the placard, Dan.
Oh,
remember?
Wow. Okay.
let me just
remind
you here. Let me just remind you. It's
go ahead,
right
remind
here.
me. Yep,
right here.
There it is. Yep, there
it's right there, right after Morgan Lofting, Dan Larson.
Dan Larson. Look.
Only the biggest names get on the placard, Dan.
Look, you can come here with your secret galaxy and all your cool information about all these old pop culture shows and everything that everybody pretends to still like and everything. But I've been on this platform for 18 years talking about toys, okay? You can't just come walking in here acting like you're the best Dan around when I am the spotlight, all right? And I will show you exactly why the spotlight shines at JoeFest.
See, now there's your promo.
There we go.
Right
Finally.
there.
Finally.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows better than to come for us because we got the top 3 spots on the placard. So I mean that's way too there's no 6-man title. It's just a beat down horseman style.
Oh dang.
That's all I'm saying.
I should wear the old Oli shirt. Damn, I am good. That was a good one.
Do it.
And Rob has I broke Wahoo's leg. Oh, it's gonna be a good
And I'll have the one from Police Academy, one in the oven.
Yeah, there you go.
Like Mahoney.
Police Academy.
Patrick Stewart notes that he found Pixel Dan because of Rock Lords. Do you want that to
Heck
be your legacy,
yeah.
Dan?
Yes, of course I do. Rock Lord's better than Transformers. Oh.
When my brother and I were at that age and a Rock Lords commercial came on TV, we didn't know if it was a gag or not. We were like, "Are you kidding me?"
They turn into rocks?
They turn into rocks. Okay.
They are literally the Transformers you give to Charlie Brown.
Right. And my brother was like, I don't know, better than GoBots. Oh.
Yeah, that's
They were
not true.
part of GoBots.
GoBots.
I was going to say, spoiler alert, they're in the GoBots line.
Yeah, they're out.
GoBots was the stuff, man.
Love that.
But we got Pixel Dan to cough up lung butter. You look out, other channels.
Coming for you.
We got Pixel Dan to phlegm all over the place.
Oh,
it's a good video clip.
Look out, JoeFest.
Yeah,
that's a good video clip. Maybe another channel will take it and scrub it and pretend it was theirs.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Oh.
My God. I think back when you say stuff like that, Mark, because a number of years ago, I remember the first time I saw a commercial for the KFC bowls.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking across the room. I don't remember if I saw that with Rob or with my friend Jamie, who will also coincidentally be at JoeFest with us. Remember the camera monkey I was talking about before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jamie's our camera monkey. And I just remember looking at them and saying, "Hey, is Arby's depressed?" Or I was expecting like the Saturday Night Live cast to show up or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then it, like within a couple of months, Patton Oswalt takes the same bit and rides it to superstardom as a stand-up comic. And I'm just sitting there going, that guy owes me a check. I don't know how.
Probably.
I don't know how, but he definitely owes me money.
That bastard owes me money. That's my bit. So you're welcome, Patton Oswalt.
That's
we got beef with Larson. We got beef with Patton Oswalt. Mm-hmm. You both bring it at JoeFest.
It reminded me of a bit in when Deion Sanders hosted Saturday Night Live, and I was watching something else or I forgot it was on, and so I switched over mid-show, and he was singing a song called "Must Be the Money." I'll never forget it. Ooh. And there were a bunch of dancers up there, all in neon, and it was awful.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop watching because I could not figure out if this was serious or if it was a skit.
Right. You're waiting for the joke, and it
like,
never came.
Is Chris Farley going to fall on him at some point, or what's going on here? And then they finished, and the audience kind of clapped because it was over.
Right.
but still no idea if that was a skit or not.
It was
Oh,
a mediocre episode with a dash of X-Pac heat.
Pretty much.
Not
pretty much.
Xbox Heat. Nice.
Right. Go home, X-Pac heat.
Mhm.
Rack time, Rob. Who you shouting out?
Well, let's shout out to Dan for putting up with your abuse.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Phil
Thank
wasn't
you,
here
Rob.
this week. Good. Come on.
Oh, boo. No, not that, Dan.
And of course, to the studio audience for listening to us blather on now for a long time. Go to bed,
2 hours
kids.
2 hours and 40 minutes is getting close to our longest in the video era. It's
big-
not even close to our longest in the audio era. I
No.
expect all of you, by all means, check that out at Podbean or wherever you get your podcast. Who else you got, Rob?
That'll be it.
All right, Dan, if you have anybody else, just jump on in because I think you've shouted out to all of one person at this point.
I'm good. I don't know. Who else should I shout out?
I mean, I'm shouting out to Dan's long-suffering family. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you to my wife for letting me sit up here for 2 hours and 40 minutes. And
Right. Wasn't it her birthday this week, Dan? Wasn't
it
that?
was. It
And
was.
you're not.
Yes.
I just shouted out your wife on her birthday, and you are.
Well, I did shout her out on her birthday everywhere.
I guess whatever. I mean, this
Just
is.
celebrated her birthday, so happy
you've-
birthday, Christina.
You've never had bigger camera time than right now, so I don't know what you're waiting for. Eh?
Oh, okay, that's true. I'm sorry. You're right. I should be taking advantage of this.
Yeah,
Sweet.
not when you worked for the WWE, not when you
Right.
No. Sweet Mother of Mercy. Oh God. Mark Weber, shout it out.
I want to shout out to any fans out here. This is also a shameless plug. Any fans out there who might be interested in a slightly futuristic 6-inch scale military themed line, 10% sale at Valaverse right now.
There you go.
So hop on over, save some money.
Lasting until when, Mark?
It is undisclosed because our Series 5 pre-orders are going to go up hopefully this week. And you ain't getting 10% off pre-orders. So it will drop when the Series 5 pre-orders go live. And the highlight of the series, I mean, I'm biased, right? But Series 5 is incredible with some of the best file cards you'll ever read. ... So shout out to the fine folks at Valaverse. And but also my oldest child, my son Derek, graduates on Friday night. And has had
congratulations.
That's right.
That's
I didn't think
congrats.
honestly. I didn't know if he was going to make it. But I think it was 4th grade. We actually switched him from public school to a small Christian school out here in Rhode Island, Barrington Christian Academy, and they've been fantastic for him. So for the teachers, for the coaches, for the educators, for the staff, for everybody who's been helping out Derek Weber, get to this day. Salute. That's all I got.
That's
that
right there is shouting out your family, Dan. Just so you're aware, that's what that.
Oh,
that's
thank you.
That's
Thanks for, okay.
When that's organic, that's what that sounds like.
And
Nice.
to Rachel,
Oh my gosh.
to Rachel Salinas in the comments, I am not going to DFW because I'm going to be at JoeFest with the What's on Joe Mind crew. But
Right.
But
right.
Bobby and the Valaverse booth are gonna be at DFW in a big way with the brand new Bone Collector figure, which if you haven't seen it, he's amazing. So check that out.
And I think that had a lot to do with the fact the invitation for us to go to JoeFest came the week before you got the job offer.
Pretty much.
Like we put it on the schedule, and then 3 days later, Mark was the operations manager at Valaverse. So yeah.
So,
Something about timing. Thank you there,
just
and
right.
the staff at JoeFest.
Yeah,
It's meant to be.
it was.
But I'm going to reiterate, Rack Time Rob, shout out to our studio audience. Thank you so much for joining us. A lot of you guys are here each and every Tuesday dealing with this nonsense. Even I'm a little lost on how you do it at this point, but I'm not going to complain. You keep on coming back. If you're catching us on recording, you count just as much. We love you too. Again, make sure everybody does all the cool YouTube button things. We're not going to beat that into the ground anymore. If you got a couple bucks laying around at the end of the month, you want to send them to us, we got a coffee account too. Link to that is in the description. That's That is taking up a couple of expenses at JoeFest next month. That is how we're going to pay for the Dan versus Dan hot dogs.
Mhm.
So,
nice.
thanks to
Thank
you
you,
guys for providing there.
Because I'm gonna win, so I'm gonna get those.
Yeah, they're gonna be turkey and pork. Sorry.
I have no
come on,
doubt.
not even all beef hot dogs. Come on.
Oh no!
All right.
If I'm buying a hot dog, it ain't that crap.
Yeah, Rob is
That's
a
against my
disciplined.
religion.
Yeah, Rob is a disciplined hot dog buyer, so it will be a quality hot dog. We will begrudgingly promise that.
Right.
Or a begrudging 6 hot dogs. I can't even track. I can't keep track of my own BS at this point.
Mhm.
But just Jeff said, notes if that was organic, this was a short episode. Come on now. Come on now. We're a multifaceted kind of podcast. Multifaceted. And but Cheapest Big Spender says your airtime ran to the F Troop Marathon. Yeah, I got their F Troop.
Yeah,
Forrest
the
Tucker
Yankees
knows
in
what he
Randall?
did.
we put the F in F Troop.
Right. we give him the FU Troop.
We F them up. Yeah.
But
F Troop.
oh my God. If you are catching us on audio replay, hey, thank you for that too. Be sure to give us a thumbs up wherever you listen to your podcast. Write us a nice 5-star review, even if we haven't earned it, which I doubt we have tonight. But whatever, we'll stick with it. Give Pixel Dan a 5-star review. Just do it under our show, so it'll work. It'll be okay.
It'll transfer. It'll totally transfer.
Just be
It
like,
doesn't transfer.
however,
Okay, then yeah,
right,
do what he says. Do what he says.
We'll
if
make
your
it work.
comment is, "Hey, bring back that Pixel Dan more often," we'll try. I doubt we're going to have a whole lot of success, but we will try.
Mhm.
The more good reviews I can wave in his face, the more likely we are to touch that ego string and have it sing the chords that his YouTube self loves to hear.
Mm.
But is that it? Is that all we got?
Oh, just one more. A big birthday this week, right? She's small. She's cute.
Oh my God! Of
she's
course,
related.
we shouted out ourselves on our social media, but since this show started 28 hours ago, I have completely forgotten. Happy first birthday yesterday.
That's right.
To the wonderful and talented Mango Habanero. That's right, the first child of the Wristlock West Whitlock and Joe Colton. Round of applause for Mango Habanero.
Birthday.
And that's almost it. We actually got one last little bit of business. Of course, while I'm talking about audio podcasts, I would be remiss if I did not mention our partnership with the Bandcamp podcast. I'm gonna go. We know what I'm gonna do before I put that overlay up. I am gonna put Dan in the top corner.
Oh,
Because we're not gonna get
Promoted.
we're not gonna get the opportunity for his weird mohawk cut to be the top of Jen's head very often. So I'm gonna pop him there.
Come on down. Come on.
There you go. There you go.
Good
there
luck.
you go.
So see, Dan's willing to play ball. We don't for everybody at home, we don't actually hate Pixel Dan. We like Pixel Dan quite a bit.
That's not true. They definitely do.
We're excited.
This was a setup. This was a setup.
We're excited to feature a really funny podcast, perfect for anyone who hates censorship. Lord knows we hate censorship because a lot of this would be bleeps and bloops. It's called Bandcamp, and the hilarious duo of Jennifer and not Pixel Dan, but Dan hosts it. Bandcamp is a comedy podcast where they read banned books and try to figure out why they were banned in the first place. This season, they're reading the classic Wrinkle in Time, one chapter at a time, out loud. If you think banning books will lead to a not-so-great future, and it will, then Bandcamp is for you, whether you're like Jen, curious to read the book for the first time, or like Dan, and a little too lazy to read it to yourself. That is, you like your reading without all that reading. You'll love Bandcamp. Look for Bandcamp, that's band with 2 N's, on your favorite podcast player, and subscribe today. Let's all get banned together. And not like Pixel Dan after they kick him off the floor for fighting Dan Larson at JoeFest.
Hold on. I just need to clarify. Are you telling me there's a third Dan?
Yeah.
Another Dan with a
cannot-
podcast.
This cannot stand.
We can call him Danned. D-A-N-N-E-D. We can be Dan.
I would
Damned.
recommend being
Yeah.
careful. He might be slipping Larson like a steel chair.
Dang it.
true.
Well,
That's true. I don't know which of you guys
I
has
guess-
more subscribers, but he'll probably back the smaller horse. So you may if Larson
I
is
think
up
Dan
there,
has passed me at this point. I think.
yeah,
Dan's
I
passed
think
me.
he may be backing you.
Uh-oh.
You might have an
Oh, good.
ally in
Good.
Bandcamp Dan.
Wait, is he a goddamn?
Although now that you get the What's on Joe Mind rub.
Right.
That's
If
like
true.
that,
If you had a
Huh.
Kickstarter, it would be succeeding right now.
Yeah. You think that Skybound Kickstarter got funded on its own?
What's on Joe Mind Rub? We're perfect.
We were in there at
Oh,
minute
man.
4 to kick it in the butt.
You know, we did plug that son of a gun for an awful long time. So I'm going to give
We
us a
did.
little credit. We get 1% of the credit.
Yeah.
I'm not insecure or anything. Anyhow, moving forward. That's all we got. Thanks so much for joining us here on What's on Joe Mind. We will be back next week for another lively and spirited episode. Our guest next week will be Troy McKee of Call Sign Longbow, on hand to talk about his upcoming JoeFest presence and how his project is coming along, and may not get as much abuse as Dan because we know Troy owns a lot of guns.
Yeah.
So I gotta be careful. There's got to be some tact. I've known Troy a long time.
I have a
but,
He-Man power sword. Come on.
Come on now. Have you ever seen him hit anything with that sword? No, nobody has. The censors took that away from him.
Carries it like a Ninja Turtle. Carries that
Right.
way.
You can slice up robots. Well, I ain't no robot, brother.
That's impressive, though, given how rounded that entire blade is. To put that all the way through the robot, that's not easy, man.
I mean, I guess he
He's
is
got
the
muscles.
Yeah.
he is the slabbiest beefcake in the universe. So that is
Most
possible.
Powerful man.
The most powerful
universe.
slab in the universe.
There you go.
Chunk
I'll
man
take
bust.
it. That counts.
Also,
All right.
not wearing pants.
On that list, he
Like
keeps
a-
getting
like a pro wrestler. You like
Anyway.
those?
No, I mean, there's nothing below the belt.
He's
It's all natural.
He's the
Oh.
stripped down. He's the
Yes.
stripped down version of the
Now you
berserker
get it.
John Nord.
Now you're
What do we learn about
now
that
you're-
guy?
now you're picking up what I'm putting down, Pixel Dan.
Oh boy.
All right, before everybody just absolutely taps out, we've already lost half our audience. We'll be back next week at 9:05 on Tuesday, June 11th, with Troy McKee, Call Sign Longbow. Thank you again to Pixel Dan for joining us and for just screwing around for 3 hours. We
Yeah,
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me, guys. It was fun. Thank you.
If you haven't checked out the Hasbro Pulse live stream from earlier today, by all means, check them out. Lenny and the gang had a great time doing it. It was a lot of fun to watch. It's always fun to watch Lenny and Tony and the gang. They're missing a Weber, but they make do.
Hey,
You know.
Lenny and Tony are two of my favorite guys in the entire industry. So I take my shots at Hasbro, but those two guys are fantastic dudes. So there you go. And I got to say it too. Sorry, I've never met Emily. I don't know her. So when I say those two are great, I'm not omitting someone to be snarky, right? I work with those two guys. Those guys are
Right.
fantastic.
You're speaking for personal experience to those two guys. She's doing a bang up job. We love Emily too, but she wasn't there today, so I wasn't going to say anything either.
Top shelf. I don't want people to get the wrong idea when I go, Lenny and Tony are great. Like,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It's not side eye. You just haven't met her.
Lenny and Tony went to a Halloween party as Hawk and Animal with the
Awesome.
haircuts and no shirts.
Awesome.
So I
All
wanted to be draws. They said no.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for the-
Get out of here with
that's
that.
for the best.
Can I be puke?
Redhead, kind of weird.
I mean, unless you're firing up on that protein shake, maybe
Right.
maybe not so much.
Can I be Heidenreich? It's gonna be great.
Oh wow.
There's nothing great about Heidenreich.
No.
Not at any point.
5
Poor
more
guy.
minutes and we hit the 3-hour mark. Just saying.
Yeah, we're getting out of here.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody. We appreciate you. We'll be back next Tuesday at 9:05. Sorry, no Pixel Dan next week, but hey, we'll see him at JoeFest.
JoeFest.
And once his lawyers are done with us, maybe we'll get him back sometime really soon.
Yeah, that's right.
Have a great rest of the week, everybody. As our friend Vagon likes to say, stay safe, and if you can't, be careful. Be sure to join us next week for another episode of What's on Joe Mind. Have a great week. Sometimes I forget my own cut.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Meow.